The best thing about watching football this weekend? Talking football on Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, welcome back in. Big week. They're all big. Rothman and Ice, Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes, and CB. How we feeling, fellas?
Feeling good, man. Feeling really, really good. Apparently, we got some good weather coming at us the next couple of days, so I know you're going to be out there playing 18 at some point.
18.
Yeah, you got it in you.
Man, it gets dark at like
it is getting
6:30 now.
I love that, by the way. That I do love that portion of the calendar. I know I'm definitely in the minority with that.
Minority? I think you're on an island.
But when the sun goes down early, I absolutely love it. I'm like Batman. I grew up in the League of Shadows. I grew up in the darkness, man. So, yeah, I know I'm on an island with that, and that's okay. It's a lot of room on this island for me to roam around by myself. I love it.
Matty, once there was only dark. So if you ask me, the light is winning.
No, you got to get out there and swing it, the big dog, because it's time for hole-in-one number 2.
Okay. Deuce Bigelow? Male gigolo?
Male gigolo.
All right. I'm all for that. We got some stuff to do today. We'll have Jim Lachey on bottom of the hour. And here's my goal. I don't want to walk down this road of it has to be fixed. There has to be specifics. We got to get to something here. And if the answer is, hey, dance with the ones that brung you, this is all we got. Okay, I get that. Yeah. I do. But I need some, because I don't know how you fix it unless you overload one side and say, this is where we're running. Try to stop us.
Well, listen, I can't wait to talk to Jim. That's his expertise. He knows all about the trenches and what it's going to require to get that to look a lot better.
Might require him to suit up.
He might. You know what? We see him once a week coming into the station, and he's got some snaps in him. He's got some
take up some space.
He's got some pancake blocks left in him. Yeah, before we get rolling, though, like, how are you? How was your weekend?
Right. You're right. I always kind of jump the start a little bit because I'm so excited. We've been out for a couple days, and then we get a chance to crack the mics and go. Yeah, no, things are okay. I'm trying to think if there was anything really exciting. It's kind of a boring existence. It was fun being down on campus, obviously back there after the bye week.
Although cold, man.
It wasn't that.
For my show, it was.
Yeah, for you, I understand.
It was one of those weird situations, AR, where it was like by the hour, it was getting colder. So we started, it was about like 45, and then we got in the few segments, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Windier, maybe?
I don't know what it was.
That's the only way it could feel colder.
It got colder, though. I think we were down to about 40 when I left. It was rough, and I felt bad for Dane Sanzenbacher. He came, he didn't have gloves, light jacket. He was unprepared. He hasn't had to do that yet. DeVere and I have been doing it for a few years now. Dane came out there, and he was a little frosty, but he learned. He learned, and now he'll come out prepared and ready to go.
Slow, but he got it now.
Right. But he got it. And by the way, he did mention to me that he would like to come on Rothman and Ice to do a hit. So I did promise him that Dane, we'll have to have him on to talk, Buckeyes, because he's a full radio guy now.
Absolutely, he can come in studio if he wants.
I told him just
to just resigned to one hit.
We'll have CB hit him up, and we'll have to get Dane on because
hit him up style.
Sometimes these former players, they like to really ease into really embracing being a media member. And I think now Dane is there, where he's like, you know what? This ain't that bad. This ain't that bad. So Dane wants to come on, man. Dane wants to come on. But how many cheeses? We over 1.5? That was my number for you. Box of cheese.
I don't think I went full family box. I'm trying to think what I ate. There was a lot going on. Pizza for sure. That was down.
That's a staple.
What else? What consumed me over the weekend, as you very well know,
fantasy,
is this dance I had to play with Jaden Daniels and the ribs, because he played at 425, and the other two quarterbacks that I have, and by the way, everyone laughed when I picked up Jameis Winston last week.
I was with you.
Why were you doing that? But then I, of course, second-guessed myself and yanked him out at 12:59 when I knew Jaden was playing, because I even texted you and said, please tell me I'm not benching Jaden Daniels. And I know it was against the Bears. And believe me, I would have taken it. I would have taken a pummeling. It looks like I am going to lose this week, but I would have taken a pummeling if the Hail Mary never happens.
Yeah, it was.
The Hail Mary never happens, and I have Jameis on my and not only do I not have, I don't have Jameis anymore. I went up cutting him because I didn't really feel I needed to carry him. By the way, we're getting into a lot of these now. Defenses on a bye, tight ends on a bye. Like you just don't have the bench to support it, to support carrying 3 quarterbacks. And so, and by the way, I really thought for a second about cutting Aaron Rodgers and keeping Jameis Winston. I was very close. Yeah. And then my tiebreaker was Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. That had to be my tiebreaker. It couldn't be Cedric Tillman. It couldn't be David Njoku. It's not like Jameis is running. Yeah. So you know what I mean? And
to take people behind the curtain a little bit, I got a text because I was busy yesterday. I couldn't get to your call. I was at church. I was running around doing a whole bunch of stuff, but we were texting throughout.
Acting like you're all late for church.
We were texting throughout the morning into the afternoon. The first text is massive fantasy questions from AR at 10:09 a.m.
Oh, they were on the hour.
Daniels game time at 4:25. Jameis at 1 p.m. Matty, and is Flowers just a decoy again? So
I wanted to get your
out there early.
By the way, he somewhat was.
Well, listen.
What are you more mad at today?
The defensive backs that
Hamilton drops an interception that ends the game.
I'm like, Jameis is trying to hand us this game.
Is it more than Bateman taking a football off the mask in left field?
Apparently. Now, Lamar was asked after the game, did any of the receivers complain about the sun? Because to me, it did look like Bateman didn't see the ball because it kind of just smacked him in the face.
Yeah, you gotta.
And Lamar
fight through it.
He said none of the guys said anything to him, but Lamar did say the sun was a bit of a factor throughout the game. So CB's in here. I think this is the first time I've seen CB on a Victory Monday with Browns gear. Browns gear on. He hasn't had any opportunity.
By the way, he should have hated that. He's been voting for the tank. This is not good for him. That's not good for you.
There's only one exception to the tank. And I say this every single year. As long as I know that Art Modell's team is taking a loss, I'm very happy with that.
Okay, that is the part of the equation that if he was going to win, at least it was against the Ravens.
My mom texted me yesterday and said, no fist fighting between you and CB on Monday about the football game. I said, Mom, he didn't even want to win the game anyway. So I don't think he's going to be killing it.
That's the saddest part.
He's going to Tankville. He didn't want to win.
If he wanted to win it, they would have lost. That's how it works. All right, so we'll hit on that later on, certainly. By the way, is both Game Day and Big Noon both going to Happy Valley? They get the daily double?
Oh, are we dueling?
I think they have dueling. I think they have Anchorman and all that. Yeah, exactly. Keep your head on a swivel. I think that's going to happen.
Who wins in that scenario, by the way?
You mean crowd-wise?
No. I'm saying like if this was like the Anchorman, like a cage match between Big Noon and Game Day. Are the Big Noon guys bringing that home? Brady, Mark Ingram, Liner. They probably bring it home. McAfee and those guys. I think I'd probably put my money on Big Noon.
Yeah, I mean, are we including Urban v. Saban kind of deal?
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That'd be awesome. In fact, why don't we just have it as a one-on-one?
Tables, ladders, and chairs between Nick Saban and Urban Meyer. Yeah, I think I'll go in a cage match, like a war game style cage match. I think I'm going Big Noon kickoff over Game Day right now. Buckeyes
are favored by, it started at, I think, 4.5, went down to 3.5. It's back to 4. It's right in that area. They expect kind of a slugfest kind of game. But Penn State, with Drew Allar having to leave the game against Wisconsin, and then they lost a defensive guy, too. It looked like a groin or something. I don't know if he's going to be set. So it's not like it's not like Penn State is in great shape right now if they have to go to they could go to their running backup quarterback, which they did, and he dances around pretty good. It's tough to defend at that point, but he's not Drew Allar throwing the football. So we got to watch that this week, and maybe that's baked into a little bit of this, and maybe then the series itself, has tended to go Ohio State's way. I know, listen, the confidence is low. I get it. This is one that's not on a tee for Penn State, but this is one they've been waiting for a long time. It's one Ryan Day certainly absolutely needs. And the confidence here, here's the most upsetting part about, and listen, they won the game. I'm here to tell you that I'm never counting Ohio State out. I'm not that guy. I wouldn't be that guy even after seeing could I count them out and winning the national title because of the way the offensive line looks? You could drag me into that conversation depending on who they play and how the bracket falls. But there's just way too much talent to say something like, well, you would count them out of winning a national title right now. Could your mind take you there with the way this offensive line looks? And if they get into a big-time game, of course. I'm not going to deny that. The injury to Simmons is impactful. We saw it. But I wanted to see, and I was promised, an angrier team. It just, and maybe I need to get off of the talk. Talk is so cheap. It just doesn't mean anything. But what I was led to believe on Saturday was that there were no words. That words were not going to be a part of this. It was only going to be action. Yeah. About that action, boss. And I saw a team that, I'll tell you another thing, if they're going to throw the ball, just keep doing it on first down. And if I'm Penn State, I realize that Ohio State can't run the ball, and I would be watching for passes on first down. But they had both those touchdowns came on first down for Ohio State. The early 4th and 1, I think, is a microcosm of where this team is right now. You have two of the best backs in the country, and you can't get any push at all, and you line up heavy on the right, but there's no push, and there's no lead block even. You might have to pull somebody or get somebody in there. Where's Gerd? Where's that lead block that they want on 4th and 1? Or even get Howard on an RPO or something. Like, it was kind of a microcosm of the game when they didn't pick up that 4th and 1. And so did they wind up getting pressure late with their defense? Yeah, they did when they were bringing the house. When they brought 6 with a spy, absolutely. But there's so much concern now on this offensive line that I don't know how you could sell, and I'm not trying to sell Buckeye fan on this, and that's why we'll have Lachey on, because getting it fixed, to me, doesn't mean just playing weaker opponents and looking better. Like, we're not measuring it against that. And this week, you're certainly going to have a team in Penn State that is going to want to show Ohio State that they can run it.
Yeah, no question. I mean, the offensive line is the headliner for me right now. There's just no denying that group up front did not perform well at all on Saturday, and it's such an important factor to your football team, right? I think it's easy for a lot of us to get caught up in the playmakers and the guys on the outside and what they can do in the quarterback. It doesn't matter how good your playmakers are. If you don't have 5 guys up front that can move people around consistently, your football team's going to be in trouble. So now you're looking down to this weekend against Penn State, against a guy like Abdul Carter, who is a very, very good pass rusher. And you got to be sounding the alarms early on in the week. So it's going to be on Coach Day, on Coach Fry, the offensive line coach, to figure something out, whether that's going to be moving the pocket or whatever it's going to be, because I just don't know if they're going to be able to consistently punch people in the mouth via the run game after what we saw on Saturday.
Drew Allar has been stated now as a game-time decision.
Well, they're definitely going to keep that in the gray.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah,
of course you would. I applaud him for it. Now, it's certainly not a complete lie in that, they're sitting there, he had to leave the game, so there's something there.
You were mad at Indiana, giving it to Pete Thamel last week about Curtis Rourke.
Well, Franklin's absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, Franklin's going to play the game, and they're going to make Ohio State.
I don't even know how much of a game it really is.
Well, I don't think he'll give the media anything as far as Drew's availability.
Or not being available, right.
He's going to make Ohio State prepare for both.
Yep. All right, we'll come back, and you'll hear from Ohio State's quarterback Will Howard on the motivation this week. And it sounds personal. You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
What John Smiley, Chairman and CEO, wants you to know about First Bank of Central Ohio.
Our competitive advantage is the number of years we've been in Central Ohio and the fact that we're able to make decisions here locally that make sense for the client. At the end of the day, it's the ability for us to say, okay, what can we do to make your banking easier for you?
Experience what it's like to be first at fbcentralohio.com. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
At APCO Windows, there's no 35% off sales, no buy one, get one free, just our best bottom line price. So get multiple estimates. Just make sure one is from APCO.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at DewOutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Does your vehicle need maintenance, but you don't have time? Krieger Ford's got you covered. Enjoy our convenient pickup and delivery service, or we come to you with our mobile service van. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today, only at KriegerFord.com.
Trust & Will knows that you're likely celebrating a loved one's birthday this month because fall is the most popular birthday season in America. And Trust & Will celebrates by protecting what matters most. Trust & Will makes estate planning easy and affordable, designed by attorneys but customized by you. Visit trustandwill.com with offer code Columbus for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust & Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
Hear that? That's the sound of Bernie Moreno shredding evidence to avoid paying his employees. You see, Moreno refused to pay his employees the overtime pay they earned, so they sued him. And after a court ordered Moreno to keep the evidence of his wage theft, what did he do? That's right, he shredded it. Moreno even admitted to shredding evidence in court. He was found liable for wage theft, and a court forced him to pay over $400,000. Innocent people don't shred evidence. And now that Bernie Moreno is running for Senate, he doesn't want to talk about how he was caught ripping off his employees. And that begs the question, do you want a guy like that representing you in the Senate? Bernie Moreno, you can't trust him to be for you. The United Association of Plumbers and Pipefitters paid for and is responsible for the content of this ad. UA.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, partly cloudy, high 69. Record warmth tomorrow. We could be flirting with a 100-year record. We're going 80 for the high on your Tuesday, 80 again on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
This is Rothman and Ice, the #1 rated midday show in Columbus.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
Listen, from an Ohio State standpoint, playing this game at noon on Saturday, I guess it's what they pick. You probably wouldn't want the night game in Happy Valley. Not that you're running from anything, but why feed anything more into that crowd that's already going to be buzzing and all that. The whiteout always has a different effect at night. And then having the motivation and all of that from the day of the fans getting all ready to roll for that. From a Fox standpoint, of course they weren't going to give this up. I know that Penn State fan, like, for the love of God, move this game tonight, right? They've already had a big noon kickoff at Happy Valley. But when this got announced, you understood why that was going to happen, that Fox was going to have this at noon. They always go into the biggest game of the day. There's nothing. I mean, you couldn't, from apples to apples, you wouldn't say that Iowa, Wisconsin is anything in the neighborhood.
No, not at all. Not at all.
This is.
No, you're absolutely right. They absolutely, over there, Penn State fans would love to do the whiteout. And even if that were the case, if this were a night game, I think based off of what Ohio State went through out in Eugene earlier this year, they would have been able to handle that situation. But yeah, either way, regardless of sun up, sun down, Ohio State's got their hands full with what is a very good team. Now, I know the narrative in Penn State's neck of the woods this week is, can James Franklin finally do it, right? Because these are the matchups he just hasn't been able to win consistently, whether it be Ohio State or Michigan, but they look to be a different Penn State, specifically on offense this year. But the massive question for them is going to be whether or not Drew Allar is going to go, and if he does go, how effective can he be? But what's going to have to change for Ohio State, regardless of who's playing quarterback for Penn State this week, is Ohio State's offense finding a way to be much better on third down. Their third down efficiency on offense was just really bad Saturday, and I think you can credit some of that to the lack of consistency up front via the offensive line and their up and down play there, whether it was Zen or Donovan Jackson. It just wasn't a good outing for those guys, and some stuff led to turnovers and the fumble from Will there and just all of that stuff that was baked into that game. But when you start getting into more of these measuring stick games, and now here we are with another one, you cannot be, 1 of 10 on third down or whatever that number was into the fourth quarter. That's just never going to get it done. So that's what they have to find a way to do is, can we on first and second down be efficient with what we pick up? That way we're not putting ourselves behind the 8 ball and making these third downs more challenging, whether they're 3rd and 6s or 3rd and 8s or whatever the scenario is going to be.
That game could have changed when Ohio State went up 14-3. With 8 to go in the second quarter. That's the time you're at home. You put your cleat on them at that point. You're up 14-3. You've now hit a couple of big-time passes. Both, as I said, came on first down, I believe. The one to Carnell Tate. By the way, Nebraska was only rushing 3. You're dropping 8. How do you give that up, right? And the second one to Jeremiah Smith was first down. It was play action because they caught Nebraska thinking run, because why wouldn't you? It's first down. And all Jeremiah had to do was fly down the middle of the field, and nobody was there. When you're up 14-3, that's the point when you want to lean on your running game. Now, I know at that point fans were probably thinking, well, now we can do whatever we want. He's hit 2 bombs. We're throwing the ball deep now.
They talked about doing that last week, too.
We're gonna blow them out of the water. Yep. And then what happens when you get into some of those third and mediums, you're talking about 3rd and 6, and the O-line doesn't hold up, and then you have a missed field goal because of it, momentum changed. And all of a sudden, Nebraska's kicker turns into Lou the Toe Groza overnight, and they're in a ball game. And the other thing I noticed, when Ohio State's like 3rd and 3, I'm not even talking about, a for sure passing down. I think Nebraska got the hint that they weren't afraid they were going to run. And they only rushed 3 on a 3rd and 3. And it just kind of showed me. And then when Howard had the pick, the high throw up the seam, and you needed a goal line stand to kind of create some momentum, they gave it back again because they went up trailing in the game. Now, do I love the fact that Ohio State down 3 with 11 to go got motivated and their fuse got lit? Oh, my God, we might lose, and let's be the Ohio State Buckeyes we know we can be? Absolutely. That was a phenomenal drive, and the final touchdown was, again, on a 1st and goal, and the O-line held up. They did hold up on that. So that drive in itself kind of shows me who they can be.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see that answer. But when you talk about the big bulk of their running attempts were snuffed out or negative yardage, as a big picture, it's not good, and it's not confidence building at all. And they know it. And they had 2 weeks to get the Oregon game, the loss, at least out of their minds, and then build up for this one at home on homecoming. And they just kind of slogged around for 4 quarters until they realized we may lose.
You can scheme it up all you want, right? In practice, you can, create a good rhythm in practice, going up against your own guys and build confidence that way. But when it comes time to doing it out on the field, it's just a different ball game when you talk about an opponent that you don't face and maybe a different look on defense. And so there was a lot of talk this offseason about the offensive line and those guys maybe not having a bunch of depth there, and should they go get another tackle or whatever it may be. in the portal. So there's a lot of pressure now on Coach Fry to get his unit in order and have those guys cooking at a high clip because, like you said, the push and the punch wasn't there on the run game when they needed it, and you're not going to just be able to throw it 40 or 50 times and I think beat a whole bunch of good teams the rest of the way. So they got to find a way to get that going ASAP.
This is the week to find out if they can keep that fuse lit, and maybe it's the opponent that will do it. Here's Will Howard, a kid that was born in Westchester, PA, talking about going back.
I'm stoked. I cannot wait. It's going to be a homecoming for me. I grew up a Penn State fan. I wanted to go there my whole life. They didn't think I was good enough. But I guess we'll see next week if I was.
Do I applaud the fact he put it out there? Yeah, I mean, he could just keep it to himself and not put that additional pressure on himself to say what he just said, which is they thought I wasn't good enough. We'll see. Like, that puts a lot more on him. That's already going to be there anyway, Maddie. But
I like it.
This one's personal for him.
Yeah, I like it. We've heard Will talk throughout the summer. He doesn't back down from expectations, and I really respect that about him. And, you know, we've seen him as a veteran guy, I think, really put up some pretty good games so far. But, yeah, he's going to be super motivated this week, and I love that he didn't back down from challenges like that or throwing it out there that this may be a thorn in his side a little bit.
And he's only as good as his offensive line sometimes, even though he was very good when he had time on Saturday. All right, when you have time, I want you to go over to Germain Honda of Dublin. They're on Sawmill Road, just south of 270. And Rich and his team is rolling out all the new Hondas, and they're rolling them out at great prices. And the lease deals I'll tell you about, like the 2024 Civic LX, $249 for 36 months. The Accord LX, $279 for 36 months. That's 10,000 miles a year on the lease, $3,500 cap cash reduction, the payments plus tax, tag, and document fee, and away you go. They've got really, really good deals, and they've got more than 300 pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Hop on their site at GermainHondaofDublin.com and check them out for yourself. And then go over there and talk to the people. Take a test drive. Find out why they are the dealership for Honda here in Central Ohio. And tell them I sent you. Germain Honda of Dublin. When we come back, we'll talk to Jim Lachey and get his candid opinions about this offensive line and how they can patch it together for the big one Saturday. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves, but don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
There's nothing like having Common Man and T-Bone resting on your bosom.
Oh, for someone with no breasts, you've done very well for yourself.
Gross. Pick up the latest T-shirt in the Fan store or pick up merch from a show you actually like. We even have Ohio State and jacket stuff. Head to 971thefan.com.
A vote for Sherrod Brown
is a vote against Donald Trump. Sherrod Brown has spent 31 years in Washington, D.C., backing radical liberal policies.
Late-term partial birth abortion, where the baby is partially delivered alive. Trans biological men in girls' sports and bathrooms. Puberty blockers and even sex change surgery for children. Amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants.
Brown's liberal policies are the opposite of the Trump agenda, and Brown would oppose Trump at every turn. To undo the damage of the last 4 years, President Trump and Ohio need Republican Bernie Moreno in the Senate. 6 more years of Sherrod Brown? He's for they, them, not you. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Script Ohio necklaces, Blocko earrings, Ohio State bangles, and more. You'll find an exclusive collection of luxury Buckeye jewelry you'll love at the Diamond Cellar, starting at $99. Show your Buckeye love at the Diamond Cellar, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Join me on Tuesday, November 12th, High Bank in Grandview. We're going to celebrate the release of our exclusive High Bank 97.1 The Fan whiskeys. Each barrel hand-selected by yours truly. Get your tickets today at 971thefan.com, benefiting our friends at the Third and Goal Foundation.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text POWER to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text POWER to 42424. That's POWER to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
No one funks up the work microwave like these two. Fish again? You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, Ohio State off a comeback win over Nebraska at home, 21-17, 6-1. And we know what's coming at Happy Valley and where the confidence is. Outside of losing the quarterback, I think Josh Simmons may be the most impactful. There's no way to sugarcoat it. And Jim Lachey certainly won't. And he's with us now. Jim, good to have you back. I think I asked you on the pregame show about the impact of Josh Simmons, and we saw it play out on Saturday with their inability to line it up, whether it was on the 4th and 1 or elsewhere in the game. Where is your concern level with this offensive line and the run game in general?
Well, big concern. Last 2 games, they've gotten outrushed. Oregon rushed for 155. Buckeyes had 141 against the Ducks, and, even more in this last game, just 121 yards Nebraska had. But it might be a historic low for Ohio State, 64 yards rushing, and the thing that's concerning, is the negative yards that they had in that game. They had, if you look at Travion Henderson, he had 25 yards on 10 carries. He had long of 15, so on 9 carries he had 10 yards. That's not getting it done. So that's something that, you got to look at. You got to blow it up and start over again, with what you want to do with that offensive line. Now, we know Seth McLaughlin's going to be the center, and 99% sure Josh Fryer is going to stay over at right tackle, and probably Tegra Shabola, will be over there at the right guard. The question is, what you're going to do with that left side? With Zen Mahosky being banged up out, still haven't heard 100%, but still, with the way you played, you're probably going to have to consider putting somebody else out there. And, what they do at the end, they put Donovan Jackson out there at left tackle, and Saraveld was in there at guard. Luke Montgomery got some opportunities too there. He might be, part of this answer too. But I would put their best athlete they have at left tackle, get him a ton of reps, against, a speed rusher because, Abdul Carter is a speed rusher, but he's got some, power to him. So, whoever has him is going to have their hands full. So I would make sure you identify where he's going to be each and every time, and, then you're out there and have a game plan for him. But something's got to get fixed. I know a couple of times, watching that, rewatching the game, it looked like we just hurt ourselves. I think we had two guards pulling in the opposite directions, and that's never good. Donovan Jackson ran right into Tegri Shabola. Somebody's wrong there, and believe me, I've done that before. It's not a good feeling when you pull and you look and the guard you guys coming right at you downhill. So those are mental errors, and so that's something they got to clean up. Understanding what they're doing, the responsibility each and every play, and going out there and getting it done. I mean, even in the NFL, I would repeat the snap count, repeat the play, all the way up until the ball was snapped in my mind, because it's amazing how many things you can forget when you break the huddle and then you get out there and get in your stance. So you got to keep reminding yourself, what you're doing and who you're going after. So eliminate the mistakes. And then, like I said, find your best personnel and put him out there to the left side. And, if it is Donovan Jackson, which I would think he's probably one of our better athletes out there on that offensive line, give him a go. Now it's asking a lot because he's a, two-time All Big Ten guard, and he feels comfortable playing there at guard. But now you got to do what's best for the team. But, man, it's funny with that offensive line. You don't notice those guys until they're no good, and then all of a sudden it sticks out like a sore thumb. And that's something that you got to get correct. And, because you got to have a running game, especially when you go on the road, and you got to be able to stop the run defensively when you go on the road. So it's going to be something that Ohio State's going to have to get figured out, get solved, and, put them in a position where they can do their best.
Jim, because of these offensive line injuries now, what do you think Coach Kelly and Coach Day are going through as far as maybe going to a new look style of offense? Like, what is the schematic change do you think that could be coming? Are we going to be looking at maybe more of a pass-heavy offense, or do you still think they're going to try to strike that balance and be a team that can both run and pass? Because it's just the punch there, as you know, just wasn't there, right, with the run game on the offensive line. So what do you think is next? Where do they need to go offensively to put out a good product?
I thought we would attack Nebraska a little bit more on the edges because they played that, 3-3-5. And generally, with those linebackers inside, it prevents double teams. So, the one way that we always attacked a 3-4 was with the counter game and then trying to get off tackle. And I think that's, something, that, Ohio State tried to run the counter, but when you have both guards pulling and running into each other, it's dead from the beginning. So, you got to get movement inside and things like that. But if you can attack the edges, you got a little bit more of an opportunity, I think, to make some plays, whether it's tosses, sweeps, reverses, whatever you have to do to get outside. I think, if you're having some issues with it, offensive line can help. But revamping it, no, I think they are what they are. You're going to have a few different keys and plays and, understand what your personnel. And the great coaches never ask a guy to do something he's not capable of doing. And if you got some guys that are in there because of injuries and are having issues, and you got to be able to, adjust your game plan accordingly. And I'm sure, Chip and Justin and Coach Day will get that, figured out. But you got to have the ability to run the ball. And the other thing is, we've had 47 offensive plays in that game. That's also got to be a low for Ryan Day era. But when you're 1 for 10 on third downs, you don't get that, those extra opportunities. So as a whole, the offense, has some things they got to figure out. The offense, for so many years, you're just like, okay, 200 yards, rushing, 300 yards passing, but that's not the case these last couple of weeks, and obviously Josh being out of there at left tackle, that was huge. And, having some depth there is, showing that, hey, maybe we're exposed a little bit there by not having some guys capable of stepping up. And then when Zen gets hurt, he was having some struggles early in that game anyhow. And, I don't hate calling out guys because, again, they're 18 to 22-year-old guys are learning. But, this is big-time football now. Guys are getting paid, and you got to, figure out these problems in a hurry if you want to accomplish the goals that you set out, before the season. And, again, we had a lot of guys come back for the opportunity to play for Big Ten championship, to beat the team up north, Big Ten championship, and, get in the playoffs and make a deep run. So the goals are still out there. The good thing is they won. They found a way to put it together on that final drive to get in the end zone, and defense came in and made some stops. But defense is going to have to be really, really heavy this week. They're going to have to play their best game to shut down what Penn State wants to do, and offense is going to have to figure out some problems and make some plays. But it's still hard to cover our receivers. So if we can give our quarterback time to get, down the field with those guys, I think, we can make some plays in that passing game. But got to have the ability to run the football. Even in, they always say, even when this, everybody in the stadium knows you're going to run, you got to have the ability to run. And right now, we're not quite there.
Jim Lachey with us, the former All-American and analyst here on The Fan. All right, I got about 45 seconds for you, Jim. Give me your best. The narrative before the game was, can they tweak the defense a little bit to get more pressure? I thought early on they brought 5. They let JT kind of fall off and spy. I thought late they brought 6 with a spy. Did you like what they did, at least defensively, to try to affect the quarterback?
Yeah, I thought they played a little bit more hungry. You can tell that, they're tired. They were tired of, getting the talk that they would talk. And, that aggressiveness, I think, showed up. I even saw them get into the old bear front a few times. So, that was something that they really kind of were hesitant to do. But they, they moved things around a little bit, had some different looks, brought pressure from different areas. And if anything, I thought we brought a little bit more into that A gap with, some linebackers with Sonny and Cody both coming in and getting some pressure. And then I also thought our guys on the edges, were sure tacklers. Denzel Burke had one of his best tackling days. Still got to work on some coverage things, but he was hungry to go out there and make some plays. Cody Simon, 3 tackle for losses. I think as a team we had 13 tackle for losses. So those are some negative things. But right now that defense is going to have to step up and carry this team until we get their things figured out offensively. And again, it's usually been the other way around, but now it's all three units, and our special team's going to have to step up too, make some plays.
No doubt. All right, my man, great little breakdown there. It's a big week. Hopefully they stay hungry and ready. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Jim Lachey, the great Jim Lachey, with us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. By the way, the one thing that we'll get to later in the week is now the challenge of maybe facing now more of a mobile running quarterback versus what they were going to have to face there, and how they have to decide how they're going to rush and contain like they did with where Gabriel hurt.
And I think that's where your reps throughout the offseason and in the season so far against Will Howard can maybe help a defense, right? Seeing some of those looks, right, with Will and his ability to run around throughout practice, I think could show itself if they go away from Mellor.
Party like a RothStar next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just a slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
Shop Meyer this week for monster deals and spooky savings. Save on bulk Fuji or Gala apples, just 99 cents a pound. From creepy to just plain silly, our huge selection of Halloween costumes for the entire family are now 25% off. You'll be the favorite house on the block when you hand out Halloween snack or jumbo-sized candy. Buy 2 bags, get 1 free. And Halloween tree pails are only $1 each. Shop these frighteningly good deals and more in-store or in the Meyer app. Exclusions apply.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina. And at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Post Malone is teaming up with Raising Cane's to empower the next generation of artists. For a limited time, 2 exclusive double-sided Post Malone posters are available at Raising Cane's. So post up your combo at Cane's while supplies last and support a good cause. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Open a Platinum Rewards Visa at Kemba Financial Credit Union and secure super low everyday rates so you can pay down debt faster. Apply now at Kemba.org to unlock 2% cash back on purchases for a limited time and pay 0% interest for a full year on balance transfers plus exclusive perks. Restrictions apply. Offer ends October 31st, 2024.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Saturday is game day on The Fan.
Sponsored by Riker Chevy.
Every game, every season, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. Let's all gather into the Kiki. It's time to party like a RothStar.
You know, man, I'm going to tell you something funny about fantasy football. Outside of the normal stupid frustration about a guy, you know, Zay Flowers goes out at the pylon. If he scores, I'm in good shape. If you know, Kenny Walker gets in one of those times. But the real frustration, I think, in fantasy is when you get so glued into your own team or going against a certain guy.
Yeah.
That you're a better defensive coordinator than the guy actually getting paid to call. Because last night, when the Niners got near the goal line, I said, whatever you do, double Kittle. Whatever you do, double Kittle. He's getting the ball here. Yeah. I know he's getting the ball here because I'm going against him. And guess what happened? They ran that pick that wasn't a pick. They picked up the flag because the defender actually ran into him, I guess. But even Collinsworth was saying, don't open this can of worms. But my point is, what are you doing in there?
CB saw your air quotes over there when you said
I guess.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But the point is that when you're so into fantasy that you become a better defense coordinator than the guy actually calling the defense at times. Anyway. All right. Kind of got him rolling over there, I guess.
He's in a good mood. It's Victory Monday. The hat he has on today is fire.
He's going through all the orange and fudge.
He's got the elf. Yeah, there we
go. By the way, you remember when I recorded this? It was last year after the Ravens win.
Oh, man.
Was it last year or 2 years ago? Because I believe it was a game. I went to a Browns-Ravens home game 2 years ago.
That dude had to be saucy yesterday.
Who you got this is easy. This is as easy as it gets.
Is it?
Yeah. Freddie Ballgame.
Okay.
Freddie Ballgame. I mean, when you think about Freddie Freeman, who was considered one of probably the face of the Braves franchise. Like, he won an MVP years ago. He won the World Series in 21, I think. 5-time All-Star. We know that. By the way, the Yankees aggressively went after him. I think the Yankees did, the Rays did, the Blue Jays did. Anyway, he considered the Rays. I know he probably considered the Yankees. And then once the Dodgers, who, by the way, had to up their deal from 4 years, I think, to... Did he wind up getting 6 with them, or did they just up the money? I think they matched the 6 years, and he got $162 million. I think the Rays were offering like somewhere in the 140s. Anyway, the fact he gets to go back to Southern California, and he's homered in 4 straight World Series games.
That's
Think about
crazy.
that for a second. Going back to his time with Atlanta, the walk-off granny in Game 1. By the way, first walk-off granny in World Series history. And then another homer in Game 2.
Yeah.
So he's homered in 4 straight World Series games. You just can't make that stuff up. And I know he was partially, had a little injury, and he's legging out triples. And I got Freddie Freeman is partying like a rock
here
star
for
right
it.
now.
First candidate for me, it's got to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers right now, 3-0, number 1 in the NBA in points per game and field goal percentage. And they're 5th on defense and points allowed. It's a very, very tiny sample size. I get it. But Kenny Atkinson, their new head coach, has come in and he's gotten things in order. And shout out to Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley looks the part. He's always looked good, but this year he just looks different. They got a squad, AR. Ty Jerome came back from injury last year. He looks like a very good bench piece. And you got to remember, they're doing this right now without Max Strus, who's going to be a very important asset to what they do all season long. So Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Darius Garland, that's the core 4. But outside of that, the Cavs look good. And they got a big one tonight. A big one tonight because they're in New York taking on the Knicks in the Garden at 7:30. Cleveland Cavaliers partying like a RothStar.
Maddie, do me one favor this year. Help me win money on the Cavs.
Got you.
Let's. I know they're out the gate now, but let's try to catch up here. All right, this kid was rated as a 4-star prospect by 24/7 Sports, rivals and ESPN. He was Mr. Football in the state of Tennessee last year, 2023 Mr. Football. And he's a freshman though, and he went to Texas A&M, and he had such an unlikely night Saturday night. The Aggies were down 10 with about 8 minutes to go in the third against LSU, and Mike Elko pulled his starting quarterback for this young kid Marcel Reed, and he only threw 2 passes, and he completed them both. But Maddie, 3 touchdown runs for this kid who had to go in the game and save the game. He had 62 yards on 9 carries, and it's unbelievable. Marcel Reed, he showed that A&M's offense might be more dynamic with him under center, and now he's making a strong case on being the guy. But when you go in relief with 8 minutes to go in the third and you rush for 3 touchdowns, you're partying like a RothStar, and you beat LSU in the process.
That's a good one.
Are they the only unbeaten team in SEC play right now?
I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah, check that out for me. I'm going with a running back too, but I'm going with a running back in the National Football League, and I'm going with James Dalvin Cook. James Dalvin Cook for the Buffalo Bills was on one out in Seattle yesterday. It was rainy. It was nasty early in the game, and when you get those type of Mother Nature issues as an offense, you're going to have to rely on your running back. James Cook, 17 carries, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns for Mr. Cook. He's averaging 4.6 yards per carry this year, and he's tied for 3rd in the NFL in rushing TDs with 7. James Cook's a baller. Yesterday, he was partying like a RothStar.
All right, quickly from me, it's the kid who got offers from Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, Penn State, Michigan State, Pitt, USC, made a couple visits here to Columbus about 10, 11 years ago, opted to kind of shut down his recruiting early, committed to Ohio State 5 months before the National Signing Day, and then as a true freshman, he played in all the games and helped Ohio State win a title over Oregon. It's Noah Brown. Forgotten, right? For a while, he broke his leg and all that stuff while he was here, and it required 2 separate surgeries, and you thought maybe his career was over, kind of bounced around, and he's the kid that caught the Hail Mary from Jaden Dan. It will live forever. Noah Brown. Unbelievable. He is party like a... they're calling it Hail Noah, which I love. And so I'm going to call it Hail Noah Brown.
It was awesome. The reason why I'm laughing is just because...
I know. We'll get to your guy.
Tyreek Stevenson.
We'll get to your guy.
Tyreek Stevenson, really, bro?
We got that teed up for the deep dive.
Come on, man. What are you doing?
All right. That is Party Like a RothStar. We come back, and after a SportsCenter update, Joe Burrow is still selling. Are we buying? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
Hello, I am a serious announcer hired to deliver a serious announcement. Get an Apex Pros winter tune-up for your furnace right now for only $29. Notice we are simply giving you the facts. Just $29 to make sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming Ohio winter. We know how you enjoy our usual fun and funny commercials. Hello? Beg pardon? Well, I see no reason to bring my mother into this. Good day to you, sir. Where was I? Oh, yes. A $29 tune-up will make sure your furnace runs safely and warmly all winter. That's serious. I'm serious. That's why we're not doing the usual that you've come to expect from Apex Pros. None of this or this nonsense. $29 for a furnace tune-up from Apex Pros. The pros who knows? Knows? Is that really how you say it? The pros who
Apex Pros, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Breaking news. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions apply.
The Christmas cash giveaways now at UDF. With UDrive Plus, 1 in 7 can play to win prizes instantly, including $1,000 weekly by buying specially marked items at UDF. No purchase necessary. Visit udrivecontest.com for official rules.
Skyline is serving up special Halloween ways made with orange noodles this Wednesday and Thursday only. Stop in for Skyline Halloween ways or pick them up and take them home. October 30th and 31st only at participating Skyline restaurants while supplies last.
Great game. You got into the end zone again and again. How'd it feel?
Awesome. Like getting a new iPhone again and again. I just got the new iPhone 16 Pro today.
Really?
Yeah. And with AT&T Next Up Anytime, I can upgrade early every year.
Very nice.
Feel like an MVP again. Learn how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us and the latest iPhone every year with AT&T Next Up Anytime. AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Offer subject to change. Additional fees, terms, and restrictions apply. $0 offer may not be available on future iPhones. Next Up Anytime feature may be discontinued at any time. See att.com/iPhone for details.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Timmy Hall. Big one coming up for the Buckeyes again this week. At the beginning of the season, we knew the Oregon and Penn State road games would be huge. It's no different now that we're here. Number 4, Ohio State will head to undefeated and third-ranked Penn State for a noon kick on Saturday. James Franklin just addressed the media. He said quarterback Drew Allar is going to be a game-time decision for the contest. He injured his left knee in their win over Wisconsin. Sophomore Bo Pribula played really well in relief, led them to victory
victory. Lots of NBA on tap tonight. Cavs off to a nice 3-0 start. Cruising past the Wizards on Saturday. They're at MSG to take on the Knicks at 7:30. And in the NHL, Jackets back on home ice. They picked up a point in Nashville on Saturday. Overtime loss. It's a 7 o'clock face-off versus the Oilers. This one sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus. Broncos, Explorers, Mustang, Mach-E's, and more. Ride into autumn with Valley Ford of Columbus.
What's the point of watching football all weekend if you can't overanalyze it?
Reaction Monday is sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. Hitting a hole in one into your ear hole. Ew. This is Rothman and Ice.
All right, second hour of the program. Put a dent in the couch this weekend and even more tonight. Jackets, Oilers coming in off a back-to-back. I will say this. Jackets are on pace to be an 82-point hockey team.
There we go. Talk about it.
Doesn't get you in the playoffs, but it would shatter their over-under, which was 68.5.
I'll say Duncan on Vegas.
I took the slight over. We'll see. When you've got 7 points in 7 games, you do the math. All right, so listen, I put the Oilers in pressure cooker on Friday. Yeah. They've now won 2 games, and they're coming in on a back-to-back, but their goalie, Skinner, is going to be in net tonight for them. I don't think he was in net the last night. So
had some heavy hitters coming through Columbus the last couple of weeks, right? Had Austin Matthews last week and Connor McDavid in the house tonight. So that'll be fun. And I'm sure, you kind of hit him with the reverse jinx over there. Mm-hmm. You called out a team, and now they're hot coming into Nationwide. So the boys over there are probably like, thanks, AR.
Well, I was hoping that I said on Friday that you're hoping this continues, but I doubt it would. But here's the other thing I've said. This whole loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss going into tonight.
Now it's time to win.
If it trends, although they are coming off a point, so that may.
But it's still an L. I like
Elvis back in the net, though. I mean, Terry's had 4 straight games. So this will be interesting. You get a real rested Elvis going against this Edmonton team.
Okay.
So we'll see how he performs tonight in a tough task, but he should be rested and hopefully ready. Cincinnati. This was a game I struggled with on Friday or Thursday when we were picking them, and it was a game they could have won. I don't know about should have won. Eagles had been coming on a little bit. You knew the whole deal with Barkley. The tush pushes, by the way, back full form. Like, that thing never went away. Like, even though they have Barkley, that thing's not going away. And I thought it might. But to get blasted by 20 and to give up Jordan Battle, you can't give up that deep pass against Devontae. I know it was a great ball. But I want to get your take on whether or not they should have gone for it. Did you see the point? I'll have to get the exact situation. When the Bengals actually went for it and probably should not have. Do you remember that point in the game, Matty?
I do. And I wasn't on board.
With going for it.
Yeah.
They wound up running that screen pass to Chase.
Didn't get it. Play call wasn't great to me. And I know this is easy. Monday morning quarterback is the easiest job, right, for us to play. But at the time, I was just like,
let me give it.
What are we doing here, Zach Taylor? I didn't love the decision, but then even zooming out from the decision as a whole, what he drew up as a play caller, I wasn't a fan of.
So here's the situation. The Bengals have a 4th and 1 on their own 39, down 7. I think it's last play of the third quarter. It is 4th and 1.
But you're in your territory.
And you are down 7, and you'd be handing it back, which is who was calling the game? It was our guy, Charles Davis. He was calling the game, and he said before it happened, I wouldn't do this because the risk of not getting it and handing it back to an Eagles offense that is cooking now when you're already down 7 was too big. Mm-hmm. Kick it away, try to get a stop, force them to go more of the length of the field. Screen gets blown up, as you say, and then it's on, and then you've lost the game, and the momentum swings, and that's it. But they still gave up 100. They gave up a 100-yard rusher to Barkley. Hurts was pretty effective. Devontae got the deep ball. and now the Bengals are 3-5. And I've been backing them because they are the moral victory program or team of the NFL right now. They certainly are. They could have beat Kansas City. They should have beat Baltimore. And they certainly could have beat Philadelphia. But now they're sitting at 3-5. They do get the Raiders coming in. That's certainly one you'd at least mark in as a as a favorite. But then they got to go to the Ravens. They got to go to the Chargers. And there's their bye week.
I think we got to stop playing this game with them.
It's about time.
No, just as far as I think at this point they should need to show us all that they can go on a run of wins, right? Before we go down this road of, hey, there's still this scary team that nobody wants to play. Because they're the only team in the NFL that we do this for. And I don't know why we continue to do it. No, I get that, but it's not leading to much with him leading the charge right now. It's not. And so it's not even Joey B's not the problem here. Look, you don't have T. Higgins in the game. I get it. The run game wasn't efficient. That still seems to be a bit of a problem there. But this defense that we've talked about coming into the year, going back to last year and inside of this year, has consistently shown that they're not going to be good enough when it matters, right? You can go up against the Daniel Jones of the world and, a Cleveland team that's looking for answers on offense the last couple of weeks and look pretty good. But you're supposed to be on this same level, if not a higher level than Philadelphia around the NFL. And you gave up 37 points in this game and allowed them to go on 3 consecutive touchdown drives, go right before the half and coming out of the half. And so that's just where I'm at with this team. I'm not going to keep playing this game of, because they went to the Super Bowl a few years ago, that they're automatically going to turn on this switch and go on a run. Until they do that, I'm going to view them as an average team because that's just what they continue to show us week in and week out.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. What happened for me, and I think what happened for a lot of people, is that they went up against teams we consider top-tier teams in the NFL and had them on the ropes. So there was always hope. You were just on the wrong side of some big games. But you're right. At this point, the results are what the results are. You can't just keep losing. It's not like they were keep losing games. This was one that they probably really had to have, and they didn't get it. And now you feel like trying to sell the Bengals on that they're still a tough out. I think every time they line up on a Sunday, they are considered a tough out. But at 3-5, you're right. There's no guarantee. Burrow is trying to keep their minds right, and he talked about what needs to happen for them to continue this season into the postseason.
I think 10 wins usually gets you in. So we got to win 7 out of 9. That's doable. It's doable. So we'll go from there.
What's he going to say, right?
Well, what we just heard from him, though, AR, is so rare. We never hear professional athletes go big picture like that.
Correct.
It's always, hey, we're just on to the next game. We got to worry about ourselves. This has got to be a day-by-day, blah, 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 all the stuff we've heard from athletes and coaches for years and years. So the fact that he's doing that is just so odd to hear, and I get what he's trying to do, and I understand that Joey B is a super confident guy, and he should be because he can absolutely go. But I just don't know if that's the card you need to be playing right now when you are – just a win above teams like the Cleveland Browns and the Raiders and the Jacksonville Jaguars and teams that I just mentioned. We talked about them as really, really bad football teams. So talking about 7 and winning 7 out of 9 right now, he's trying to infuse confidence in his guys, but I just don't know if that's the move. It's
a great observation, and I would say that he gets it. He's trying to be real and also positive at the same time. Like, that's at least who Joe Burrow is. He is ultra confident, but there's no hiding behind his record at 3-5. He can't keep selling, we're okay. By the way, he can't pull, which he's not doing. They should replay that Aaron Rodgers stuff. Oh, the denouement, or we got to remain sanguine. Really? I wonder what word Aaron Rodgers is bringing to the table this week.
Oh, gosh.
It's probably not a synonym for optimistic. Like, it's one of those deals that I think Joe understands where they are while also saying that it's not mathematically over, that he'll never quit and it's doable. But you're exactly right. Normally, you would hear a guy come to the podium and say, we got no business thinking anything other than the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
This team's got no right to think about anything more than Sunday. And that's it.
And say what you want about the Raiders. That game against Kansas City, they made them earn that. They
did make them earn it.
Made them earn that. Kansas City's an undefeated football team that had all of their horses, especially their playmakers. And I know Pacheco's been mentioned, but Kareem Hunt's been toting the rock pretty well. And the Raiders didn't lay down in that game. And so you can look at their record and say, yeah, they're 2-6, and it's Gardner Minshew and all of that. The Bengals got to come in locked in and ready to absolutely dominate this game because we just seen it all year around the NFL. Doesn't matter what your record is. Outside of Kansas City right now, it seems like anybody can get got. So they just have to be laser focused on just this game and figuring out a way to go on a run. So for me, until they win, 3 games in a row, me personally, I just don't feel like I should be continuing to give them this grace as far as the big picture stuff and what they can do in the postseason. They just got to start proving it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's one of those things that, and I was backing them because of those early losses. I had to believe that this is the NFL and they're still good. I had to at least believe it based on the competition they were playing, even if they were coming up on the wrong end. But now it feels like they're in a really weird spot. I remember Trey Hendrickson, didn't he wanted to get traded before the season started, before the draft. So he was frustrated. And I know they ran it back at linebacker with our guy Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt. And the secondary, it obviously didn't look good against the Eagles, but, they tried to bolster that a little bit in the back with Geno and Vaughn. And you thought that maybe with a healthy Joe Burrow, all things were possible. I mean, that was it. Honestly, the only thing we probably talked about for the season more than anything, even though you and I did talk about the defense and we were worried about the back end until they made those moves, is that if it was the big if Joe Burrow stays healthy, they're always a contender because he's that good. And now, since you lost some really tough games, you're on the wrong side of them, the reality is starting to set in that they're just chasing something they probably won't be able to get to. He's right. I mean, I go through their schedule. Do I look at them? Because I was looking at it. Will they be he said what? 7 out of 9?
7 out of 9.
All right. So I looked at their schedule real fast and I said, will they be favorites to win in 7 of their last 9 games?
We can't keep playing this game.
I know.
Problem.
But I'm playing the game just for myself on whether he's technically right. That they can do it. Not that they will, but I just wanted to identify if he's technically right. They will be favorites against the Raiders. They'll probably be favorites on their home field against Pittsburgh. Will they be a favorite at Dallas?
Probably not.
You don't think so? Mm-mm. Okay.
No, because at that point in my mind, I'm thinking Micah Parsons is back.
Will they be a favorite at Tennessee? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Will they be a favorite at home against Cleveland?
Probably.
Will they be a favorite at home against Denver? Probably. Will they be a favorite at Pittsburgh? Probably not. Doing that little exercise, and I appreciate you indulging me on that. He's actually not correct. Now it's doable, but he's not correct in that they'll be favorites. They won't be favorites in 7 of their 9 because they won't be a favorite at your place, and they won't be a favorite at the Chargers. And they probably won't be a favorite at Pittsburgh to end the year. And they may be done then anyway, so it wouldn't matter. Mm-hmm. But here we are, the 3-5 Cincinnati Bengals. All right, we come back. Is it the injury that saved a season? Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Hello, I am a serious announcer hired to deliver a serious announcement. Get an Apex Pros winter tune-up for your furnace right now for only $29. Notice we are simply giving you the facts. Just $29 to make sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming Ohio winter. We know how you enjoy our usual fun and funny commercials. Hello? Beg pardon? Well, I see no reason to bring my mother into this. Good day to you, sir. Where was I? Oh, yes. A $29 tune-up will make sure your furnace runs safely and warmly all winter. That's serious. I'm serious. That's why we're not doing the usual that you've come to expect from Apex Pros. None of this or this nonsense. $29 for a furnace tune-up from Apex Pros. The pros who knows? Knows? Is that really how you say it? The pros who...
Apex Pros, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+, subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com and 12/31/24, void or prohibited.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else. Like the best-selling RAV4. Now through November 4th, get 4.99 APR financing on a new gas-powered 2024 RAV4. Or lease a RAV4 LE for $339 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Bo Bishop here. Join us for the Make a Difference Gala, High Bank Distillery, November 12th. It's bourbon, food, and fun with Brady Quinn, Bobby Carpenter, and me. The gala benefits the Third and Goal Foundation, making a difference in the lives of veterans. Get your tickets today at 971thefan.com. 21 or older, please drink responsibly.
Hey folks, Austin Ward here, and we all know consistency is key in sports. Think about it. No matter how many points you put up in one game, it's the team that stays consistent that ends up winning a championship. The problem? Consistency is hard. For years, that's how I felt about my weight. I'd start strong, but could never stay the course. Then I found Awaken 180 weight loss, and now consistency isn't just a word, it's my reality. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. After dropping 12 pounds in my first week, I went on to lose 52 pounds total. Lost weight every week. Since then, the scoreboard has read the same every single month. October, 189 pounds. September, 189 pounds. August, 190. Okay, maybe a pound off. July, 189. The weight just stays off and for free. Awaken 180 clients don't pay a dime in free maintenance for life. It's like free oil changes for the rest of your life. If you're looking for results that last, do what we all did and choose the solution for weight loss. It's online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of Bernie Moreno shredding evidence to avoid paying his employees. You see, Moreno refused to pay his employees the overtime pay they earn. So they sued him. And after a court ordered Moreno to keep the evidence of his wage theft, what did he do? That's right. He shredded it. Moreno even admitted to shredding evidence in court. He was found liable for wage theft, and a court forced him to pay over $400,000. Innocent people don't shred evidence. And now that Bernie Moreno is running for Senate, he doesn't want to talk about how he was caught ripping off his employees. And that begs the question, do you want a guy like that representing you in the Senate? Bernie Moreno, you can't trust him to be for you. The United Association of Plumbers and Pipefitters paid for and is responsible for the content of this ad. UA.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Lots going on in the world of weather this week. Today, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, high 69. Record warmth on your Tuesday and Wednesday. Both days, highs will be in the 80s, and then some heavy rainfall possibly by Halloween. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, when I said an injury that may have saved a season, CB got me in the hallway, Maddie. He said, season? How about franchise? And I said, because I think he's looking at it as you never have to go back to him now. Now, he may not be healthy enough or whatever. Maybe his career. This is, the other guy doing well may be the nail in this thing. From the Baltimore side of it, and looking at the Baltimore Sun and the Ravens Wire, it's all an analysis of an embarrassing loss. They lost to a Browns team that wasn't supposed to beat anybody.
By the way, I love that, going back to the quarterback stuff that you were talking about, that we treat Deshaun like he's Lord Voldemort from Harry Potter, like he who shall not be named. Like, you can even say his name. You're just saying he. And I
don't think I did it intentionally.
No, I know you did it, but it's just funny. It reminded me of Harry Potter, because in the movies, you don't say Lord Voldemort's name, but you could say he, and everybody knows who you're talking about. Watching the game yesterday, I'm sitting there, and this is part of the reason why I've been telling you guys I don't view my team as a true contender this year. They don't have the defense. And I know that, look, they didn't have
injuries.
They didn't have Humphrey. They didn't have Wiggins. But when those guys have played, the defenses looked horrendous. And so credit to the Browns for taking advantage of that. You and I talked fantasy with Jameis last week, and we're like, man, it's a good play for him. It's a decent spot for him because of his gunslinging ability. And look, it almost came back to haunt him a few times in the game, but that's the Jameis Winston experience. And he did a good job of spreading the rock around to his guys, and especially those top 3 receivers now for Cleveland. I mean, he hit up Cedric Tillman for 9 targets, Elijah Moore for 12, Jerry Jeudy with 8. And so with Jameis Winston,
all things are possible.
Well, I'm not going to say that, but it had a little bit of that Flacco-esque vibe as far as the way the offense operates with this style of quarterback. So that's what you're supposed to do. As an offense, you take advantage of what the defense gives you, and Stefanski and Jameis Winston knew this is a secondary we can take advantage of.
Dorsey.
And they absolutely did that. They absolutely did it.
It is weird to sit here and believe that, because this makes the Browns, Deshaun's injury, as bad as that was making them look, this also makes them look maybe even worse.
So this is 2 years in a row.
Well, because they couldn't pull the plug. Now, we understand why. It's a lot of money, a lot of dollars, but it was throwing good money after bad in a way. You get a guy who, yes, Winston took a couple sacks and all that.
Probably should have thrown at least 2 picks.
Yeah.
At least 2 picks in the game.
Look, he should have thrown the game-losing interception.
Kyle
He actually
Hamilton.
did.
Yeah.
And he got away with it. And give him credit for being able to put that out of his mind and say, they gave me a gift, I'm going to make him pay for it. That's what sports and life is about. He got a second chance, and he made him pay. But
I love that, sports and life.
Yeah, I really,
I love
exactly.
that. You really put me on the couch right there.
I really did.
I like it. I think CB actually
8 of 15 on third down.
I know.
So
pretty efficient. CB, do you have sound from Jameis on that throw? I think he may have something for us.
Oh, I started praying instantly. I started praying instantly. Like, it was only by the grace of God. And I think when situations like that happen, you always sit back and you're like, man, I still got the stuff to work on, right? Because it could have been a matter of whatever. Who knows how we would feel right now if that would have happened. But I'm so grateful that was an if. And ifs and shoulds and woulda, couldas don't mean nothing.
He's so entertaining.
Please tell me he didn't lick his fingers again.
I can listen to Jameis talk all day long.
But you don't like the licking of the nubs for the W. That wouldn't have been.
No, I'm not a fan of that.
Even if because he was asking his teammates to do that with him. Kind of.
I'm out on that.
Eating dubs.
Yeah, I'm out on that.
Your Ravens have now lost to Patrick Mahomes. No problem there. Gardner Minshew. That's not good. And Jameis Winston. Now, you were shorthanded defensively, which we talked about.
Yeah.
But Cleveland hadn't scored more than 18 points all season long, and they got 29.
Lit us up.
Yeah.
They lit us up, man. They absolutely lit us up there. So the Chargers are on deck for them. The run game, again, for Cleveland was just kind of but the defense and what Baltimore was giving you, you didn't have to go into that game feeling like we got to average 4.5 to 5 yards per carry. You knew that you could put this on the right shoulder of Jameis Winston and do what they did. So Chubb hit you up for 52 yards, but it's 3.3 a pop. I don't know what you thought of how he looked. It looks like a guy that's working his way back from a significant injury. And this is kind of what we both expected there, is for him to be able to ramp up and look a little sluggish early on, and that's perfectly fine. But hopefully eventually he can find that second gear and get going. That may not happen until next year. Who knows if it ever happens again. But right now Nick Chubb just looks like a guy, and we know he's much, much better than that when he's right.
I think it says a lot that we're not really talking about him and they won a game.
Yeah.
Like that puts it all on establishing the passing game and guys making big catches. And It's not like this receiver group scares a lot of people. A couple of them are kind of cast-offs, and you're with Jameis, but they also are playing a little more freed up. There's not a ton of pressure on this team right now. Maybe Jameis feels a little bit, but he seems to relish in that. And a lot of people think that he's still got an NFL arm. You know, if you can just tie his IQ to it and get the brain working and situationally not make stupid plays, which all quarterbacks can make. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody really saw this coming outside of the fact that there was a lot of emotion in the game with the passing of Jim Donovan. They were at home. You're just going up against Baltimore. You feel like you got a little energy from the Jameis start. You got to at least believe that.
I knew we were in trouble when I saw that Lamar didn't have his hair braided. As a Ravens fan, I was like, you know what?
That was it.
Something's just not right in the atmosphere today. And then they put the graphic up, too, right when the game started. The Browns have done a really good job against Derrick Henry. I know he ripped off that one run on the left side there, but I thought they did a pretty good job against Derrick. He had 73 yards in the game, and 39 of those came on that one run. So the defense actually did their part of bottling up what has been the best running back in the league to this point. I guess we're in wait-and-see mode with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. That was a scary situation where he got carted off the field. I haven't seen anything today from Kevin Stefanski. I don't know if you guys have seen anything as far as what he's been dealing with or what he's going to be dealing with moving forward, but I know he was hospitalized overnight, so definitely wish him well on that. And that dude is just an absolute menace on the second level. Just a home run draft pick by the Browns a couple years ago when they grabbed him, because him on that second level is just an absolute problem for offenses. So, yeah, we just got to keep our eye out for that and wish JOK well.
Yeah, listen, they got after Lamar. They got after him pretty good. This is still a very athletic defense, and they can be tough on teams. And they forced him into a lot of punts, forced you guys into some bad third downs.
Yeah.
And here you go. Now, I did not think you were going to lose the game, but I will say when Hamilton dropped the pick right in his hands, it's those – you know what that's like? That's like the guy dropping the foul ball in a baseball game, and one that matters, like in one that can clinch, that can end an inning, a third out of an inning where a guy drops a foul ball, and you're like, you just gave somebody another at bat, another
home
swing.
run's coming.
Yeah, and you could just feel it that way, and he knew it, and they kind of knew it.
Yeah, it was that play you identified, and then the huge play that Bateman should have caught when he was just wide open in the middle of the field, and Lamar dots him up, and you don't catch it. And throughout that game, Justin Tucker misses some field goals. So the Browns took advantage of those mistakes, and credit to them for doing so.
All right, when we come back, our guest, Tej Seth, he is the data science NFL analyst for Penn Interactive, and we'll get his feeling on the top tier of the NFL and if a couple teams are down and out. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
An ex-jock and a very puffy, smooth-faced man. These are the first voices you should hear. Morning Juice. Your wake-up service.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night, and you can't stand your CPAP machine. The good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your significant other will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. Yeah, Marysville. If you're snoring and waking up all of Marysville or wherever you live and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also check him out online, sleepbettercolumbus.com, and now sleepbettermarysville.com.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
Skyline is serving up special Halloween waves made with orange noodles this Wednesday and Thursday only. Stop in for Skyline Halloween waves or pick them up and take them home. October 30th and 31st only at participating Skyline restaurants while supplies last.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves, but don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LEARN for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LEARN for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LEARN.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Finding the sweet spot between the over and the under. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, the NFL, the gift that keeps on giving. From the Hail Mary to the Jets now being down and out. Our friend Tej Seth, Penn Interactive, data science, NFL analyst with us on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Tej, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. Excited to be here, and we're just so excited to watch Jameis Winston yesterday, with all the other things that you just mentioned in that intro there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're not saying he's going to save a season, but it does kind of ease the pain a little bit from everything they invested in Deshaun, and maybe they have a viable arm back there and a guy who's still an NFL player. I do want to go to the southern part of our state and ask you about the Eagles-Bengals to start with. What should I be buying? Should I be buying the Eagles again? Are they for real again? And in the same breath, is Cincinnati still alive in your mind? Are you still buying them?
Yeah, so when you look at that game yesterday, going into the game, the Eagles' offense was really struggling throwing over the middle of the field. They were the worst team in the league from an efficiency standpoint when they were targeting that area when passing. But yesterday was a huge change in their performance when throwing over the middle of the field. They did it more often, and they had a lot of success when doing that. They generated most of their explosives off of throwing over the middle of the field. So I feel a little bit better about the Eagles' offense going forward, because if they can access that area more often in their pass game, that really unlocks an element to their offense that they didn't really have before. And their offense was relatively efficient, even despite not being able to do that. So, Eagles, I feel a little bit better than coming out of yesterday's game. And then when it comes to the Bengals, we know this Bengals defense just isn't that good, and that's going to be a problem that's going to stick with them the entire season. You hope that the offense can just score enough to make up for it. Yesterday, the pass game was pretty good, but the run game was just so inefficient that they weren't able to really generate, a consistent offense, especially later in the game. So they'll be a team that, will be fighting for a playoff spot and is on the outside looking in right now just because of their defense and how their run game has performed in certain games this year.
I want to ask you about Monday Night Football. We get the Giants coming into Pittsburgh, but we'll lock in on Pittsburgh here since we talk a lot of AFC North ball. Your thoughts on the decision going from Justin Fields to Russell Wilson, but how Russ looked in Game 1? Did you like that call? Did they make the right call going from Justin to Mr. Unlimited, as we call him here on the show, as he calls himself?
Yeah, a self-coined nickname is always pretty good to have. But when you look at that decision, I think it came down to Mike Tomlin just promising Russell Wilson an opportunity to start when he was healthy, and that happened sometime, between him signing in Pittsburgh or throughout training camp. And so it was nice of Mike Tomlin to honor that agreement. And what Russell Wilson did in that first game was just target George Pickens, which is always going to be pretty beneficial for an offense because of how often Pickens is able to take 50-50 balls and turn them into his advantage, where he can make those like 80-20 balls where he's just coming down with those more often than not. So it'll be interesting to see if Russell Wilson kind of keeps that up in this offense. If they still kind of have some of those catches where Pickens is able to come down with some pretty tough contested catches. But having two quarterbacks that can offer you some sort of efficient play in an offense that you can kind of switch back and forth between, if one isn't working out, is definitely an okay spot to be in if you're Pittsburgh.
You think that we collectively, as people that talk football all the time, undersold the Buffalo Bills this year? Are they now as for real as they've been in the past? Where do you stand on them?
Yeah, so when you look at the Bills, whenever you have Josh Allen, like when you have a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, it's always going to give you such a certain floor on offense, and that's what he provides. But now these, like, with Khalil Shakir being like one of the better players to target in the NFL right now, just on like a per target basis of like how often he's able to churn out first downs when targeted. You bring in someone like Amari Cooper, who's able to provide you some extra separation in that offense. And then you look on the defensive side of the ball, and they have these really well-designed game plans for specific games that really take advantage of the offense's weaknesses. And we saw that again from Sean McDermott yesterday. So it did seem like we underrated the Bills a little bit coming into this season, and they're definitely overperforming on some of those expectations right now. And I do think that they have the ability to keep that up just because of Josh Allen and some of their defensive game plans that they're putting out there.
So going over to the NFC, I want to ask you about the Commanders, and the Hail Mary was absolutely bananas how that all unfolded itself there, and credit to them for executing that. But I see their record at 6-2, but in my mind, I don't truly believe that they're a contender. Am I wrong for thinking that way?
Yeah, I actually do think that the Commanders are going to be a contender down the stretch. I don't know if they're going to necessarily win the division just because their schedule is tougher than the Eagles' schedule the rest of the season, but the Commanders' offense has performed really well in almost every game this entire season. Yesterday, they were pretty good when passing the ball, very inefficient when running the ball, but the Bears have a very good defense. But when they play defenses that are outside of the top 5, top 10, I think that they'll be able to put up a decent amount of points on them, especially when Jaden Daniels is healthier. And we've seen that often throughout the season where in games where they've played, average to below average defenses, they've been able to move the ball very effectively. And then when they play these tougher defenses, like any offense, they might have some struggle, but they still seem like they're able to sustain drives, at least when they get into the red zone where they're having a little bit of trouble right now. Their defense is really bad. So I don't know if they'll necessarily be able to keep up on that end. But when you have a top 5 offense, you're usually able to compete with almost any team in the league, and they should have that the rest of the season.
So Houston now has been dealing with some injuries to their playmakers, Nico Collins, and he may be back soon, but now it looks like Stephon Diggs may miss some time. Do you think that they can stay afloat, let's say if Diggs has to miss a significant amount of time, or would you be expecting maybe a step back here from C.J. Stroud and the Texans?
That is a really good question, and when you see cluster injuries in one spot, it usually is hard to sustain good offense, especially when you, as a pass offense, relied so much on Nico Collins, who is one of the best receivers in the league right now, and also Stephon Diggs, who is still a very good separator at this point in his career. So I do expect a step back for this pass game as long as Nico Collins is out. You're hoping that you get him back soon, but the offense just isn't the same without him. And we can really see how important he is. And then now without Diggs there and with Tank Dell underperforming this year, it's going to be a lot tougher for C.J. Stroud and this Texans pass offense going forward.
Well done, my man. Good breakdown from Sunday. Enjoy the game tonight. Hopefully we'll get you back soon. Thanks, Tej.
Sounds good. Talk to you guys later. Yep. Bye.
Tej Seth, Penn Interactive Data Science NFL Analyst on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. You and I will kind of revisit some of our takes before the season as we do our normal Monday takeaways, and we'll do those coming up at 2 o'clock. But go ahead,
real quick.
Matt.
I just wanted to ask you this. I wanted to because my question to him about Washington, when you look at them in 6-2 and you see them hanging out in the same suite as the Detroit Lions and the Packers record-wise, do you view them as a squad that's on that level? Because I don't, and maybe I'm wrong in thinking that way. Because Jaden has been awesome. But there's 2 teams that we expected to be at the top of the NFC standings, and that is Detroit and Green Bay. Washington's, they're right there. How do you feel about them?
They hung with you guys on the road and lost. So I try to compare them to some of the top teams I like in the NFL. I mean, without him, they're nothing because I don't trust their defense, and I don't even trust a running game without Jaden Daniels. Yeah. You can't roll me out with even though Austin Eckler, I think, can be a versatile dude for them. I mean, he's everything. He came off the mat. I was surprised. He must have really just gotten over the ribs really fast because I kept mentioning next week's the Giants game. It's more important. You got to be careful. But back to your original question.
As a contender, do you see
a Super Bowl contender?
Or just, let's say, getting to the divisional round. I don't even know if I'm there with them yet.
I think with him, I am.
Okay.
I think for the divisional, yes.
Okay.
Or winning the division. Is that
winning
what you mean?
the division? No, I mean the playoffs, in the NFC divisional round of the playoffs. Do you think that they
in the NFC? Absolutely.
They're 4-0 at home
in
right
the
now.
NFC? Absolutely.
Okay.
Because if you're talking about not having to play, if you're talking about playing, well, I was about to say my Vikes.
I'd still take Philly over them.
Yes, I would take Philly over them. I think they're more complete.
Yeah.
And they've been there.
But they're there. They're in the mix.
But they're there.
Credit to them.
Yeah, they should be. With him, all things are possible. We come back with a Buckeye Bulletin. Ryan Day promised an angry team this past weekend. The one thing he can't promise is whether his O-line will hold up. Will he make any personnel changes? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
The blood battle is back, and the Buckeyes are the defending 2-time champions. Donate blood at a Versity Blood Drive by November 27th to help Ohio State beat Michigan again. Sign up at versity.org/blood battle. Buckeyes bleed scarlet and gray.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turn, skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
Post Malone is teaming up with Raising Cane's to empower the next generation of artists. For a limited time, 2 exclusive double-sided Post Malone posters are available at Raising Cane's. So post up your combo at Cane's while supplies last and support a good cause. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
We all know Central Ohio's growing fast. It's making traffic worse and life more expensive. That's why voting yes on Issue 47 is so important. Issue 47 will help folks get to work faster and cheaper by creating CODA Rapid Bus Service. That means more routes, better hours, and more reliable service. That will expand access to transportation for everyone in our community, from the elderly to the disabled, to veterans and students. And Issue 47 will make our neighborhoods safer and more walkable by building 500 miles of sidewalks, trails, and bikeways. When we pass Issue 47, we'll get $1 billion in matching funds from the federal government to pay for it. We're already sending our tax dollars to D.C. Let's bring some of that money home to help our community. Issue 47 means safer neighborhoods and a better quality of life for our families. It's an easy call. Vote yes on Issue 47. Paid for by moving Central Ohio forward.
Bishop and Friends.
Will Howard is being treated at Ohio State like an NFL quarterback. When you listen to him talk, you understand why.
Bishop and Friends.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Congratulations, you're having a little girl.
At that moment, everything changed. Our hopes and dreams for ourselves were instantly replaced by our hopes and dreams for her. We got life insurance policies from Shelter Insurance, so that regardless of what life throws at us, we'll still be able to provide the world to her.
Visit shelterinsurance.com to find an agent to help you pick a policy that's right for you. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Attention football fans, the season's heating up, and that means it's time for jaw-dropping plays, spectacular touchdowns, and memories that'll last a lifetime. So if you're looking to grab the best seats for all the excitement, Vivid Seats is your go-to playmaker. With an incredible selection of tickets and a game-changing rewards program, Vivid Seats is your ticket to every thrilling moment. Don't miss out. Experience it live with Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another furnace breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day furnace installation.
All right, Buckeye Bulletin time. So similarly to when you lose a big game, when you don't win by big enough, it has the same effect around here. And the effect that it has is the Buckeye confidence meter. That's all it is. No one would ever crush them for winning a game, or not, I shouldn't say nobody. But what we do is we measure it by, is it good enough?
Or do we measure it by the Indiana Hoosiers?
Okay. Let's not bring that into.
Hey, no, baby.
It's not even the week.
They can't be stopped. They can't be stopped. Curtis Ward, don't need him. Ellison, come on down. But honestly, I do think, and we talked about it last week, that for some Buckeye fans, that was going to matter. Common opponent.
We did.
The week before, you watched a team in Indiana. Uh-oh. Got an almond attack. Sorry. You watched a team in Indiana, excuse me.
Play through it.
Absolutely house Nebraska. And here comes Nebraska in your house. And you
off of 2 weeks.
Off of 2 weeks, right? And you got to grind to a win. And so when you talk about that confidence meter now on a Monday for Buckeye fans, I don't know if there's a whole bunch of, yes, we're going to win the Natty juice that's still out there.
And that's kind of the point, is that on Friday, we talked about every scenario. And I sat here and I said, I would be shocked if they were trailing in the fourth quarter. And what happened? They were. And we also talked about, and I wasn't in the camp of it had to mirror Indiana, Nebraska. I also said on the program on Friday that if Nebraska's defense has any pride at all, they're going to try to show up today. They can't have what happened to them in Indiana and think that played well in their locker room, as did Ohio State having to deal with 2 weeks off the 1-point loss at Oregon, which is on the wrong end of a big game again. But the fact that Ohio State cannot line it up, and they produced 2 runs over 10 yards on 31 attempts, and as Jim Lachey told us, Henderson was 10 for 25, and Q was 10 for 29. That's a 2.7 per with the best backfield in America. Maybe you do have to start RPOing Will Howard now because you need another hat to block, And so I really don't know where that's going. But Ryan Day did talk about the situation with that running game and how upset he is about it.
We need to run the football. I think we ran the ball for 64 yards, and 24 was up from Will. That's not even close to good enough. So we're averaging under 3 yards a carry with Quinshon and Travion. That's not getting it done. We got to do better than that.
It's not on those guys. It's on the offensive line. They got to figure something out this week and look themselves in the mirror and make something happen, because teams are now going to identify, oh, wait a minute, Nebraska, they had the ability to push back. And Ohio State could not do what they've done all year for the most part, and that is create explosive plays on the ground. We know those running backs are dudes. Like you said, you can make the case that that's the best duo in the country, but they can have all that talent in the world. If there's nowhere to go, there's just nowhere to go. And so we talked to Jim Lachey earlier. He threw out the possibility of Donovan Jackson maybe going out to left tackle. There's got to be some tweaking going on.
So, by the way, didn't have a great game himself.
He did not, and we know he is a very, very good player and has been for the last couple of years. And so it's one of those things that can get lost in conversations, right? When we just talk about offenses and their ability to score points and all these big-time plays and all that, it doesn't matter how good your quarterback and playmakers are, if you don't have a unit up front that can throw guys out of the club and consistently push the line of scrimmage to create room for your guys to make noise.
So they went with a guy who's been around. Zen Michalski's been around. He's a fourth-year guy, and he replaced Josh Simmons, the most impactful injury outside of maybe losing Will Howard. And he's played in a lot of games. He's played in all their games over the last 2.5 years. Now, a lot of those snaps were on special teams or when games were sewn up, and so he hasn't had the difficulty of adjusting right away. Now, he was thrown into the Oregon game. It's not like he didn't play in that one. And then he had 2 weeks to prepare for this one, and he was not good. That's what's, I think, alarming me, is that you had a chance to really prepare for this and look better, and you didn't. Here's Ryan Day on letting Zen play through it.
I felt like for his first start, he had to play through it. Didn't want to panic and just pull him out because it's your first start. So there's some things you're going through, whether it's first time jitters or whatever it might be. You're pressing and you're trying to get your feet underneath you. So we wanted him to play through that and see how that went.
Yeah,
I get that.
And absolutely, you can't just sit him down unless he single-handedly is ruining the game for you.
No, he's going to be super important for what they do moving forward.
Correct.
I know he's banged up in this game, so we'll see what Coach Day has to say about it tomorrow. But that is one of those situations to where you can't just go to somebody else because your depth has already been shaken here because of the Josh Simmons situation. And so, Zen, this may have to be a on-the-job learning, as some things come at you that may not be comfortable for him moving forward.
And here's Will Howard on the game-winning drive.
How well did the defense stand up right now?
They won us the game. 100% they won us the game. Those guys, we don't win that game without our defense and the way they played. They played an unbelievable game today.
Fourth quarter drive, you had to make some plays and you made them.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that first play was a great play call, running the wheel up the sideline to Carnell. Carnell made a great play, getting some extra yards out of it. Mecca did a great job on that fourth down, just stemming at the guy, getting out and converting that one. And then, the play to Quinshon, he just kind of did his own thing a little bit and got open, and it was great, man. So it was,
snuggled it like a baby.
He did. He sure did. He was making sure he caught that thing, which I love.
They benefited two ways, Maddie. One, they finally lit their own fuse when they were down 3. It took being down. And then they knew that Dylan Raiola couldn't throw the ball down the field. He had moments. Dylan Raiola had the moment he ever dreamed of. He was getting that ball with 3.5 to go with a chance to beat Ohio State in Ohio Stadium, and couldn't do it. So here we are, Ohio State with the victory. It's today's Buckeye Bulletin.
Did you know that the Columbus Men's Clinic is just a great place? Their patients average 3 failures with other places before coming to the Columbus Men's Clinic. If you've been waiting to treat your low T or ED, or maybe you had a bad experience with yet another clinic that opened quickly and closed, it's time to get in there and move forward with your sex life, your career, and gym goals. They specialize in seeing guys who think they're out of luck regain hope that they can be successful in the bedroom and beyond. Seriously, go see the team that for 10 years has been number 1 in Ohio for men's health. Stop thinking about it and get in there. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400, or go online to columbusmensclinic.com to book an appointment today. columbusmensclinic.com.
Final hour coming up. Who is Tyreek Stevenson, and why is he forever the star or the GOAT of the Hail Noah? Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Are men and Bone stupid in real life? Yes. Yes, they are. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Scotty Vegas here. In November is Veterans Month, a time to celebrate and honor the heroes who have served our country. This November, Awaken 180 Weight Loss is showing their appreciation for active duty veterans and spouses by offering 15% off your entire Awaken 180 program. Free support for life included. It's a thank you for the sacrifices you've made protecting our freedoms and making this country what it is. This is a special. Awaken 180 has never offered a discount, ever. If this incentive can help turn your focus on you, your health, your goals, and your happiness, I say go for it. Do what I did and choose a solution for weight loss. So if you're active duty, a veteran, or a spouse of one, this month is about you. Celebrate Veterans Month with 15% off your Awaken 180 program. And as with all clients, receive free support for life after reaching your goals. Do what I did, and over 23,000 others have done. Take control at awaken180weightloss.com.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves. But don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code Columbus now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust and Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor? Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sounds like wipers. If your wipers are streaking, skipping, chattering, or even worse, loud, you need to visit AutoZone and get some fresh new blades. We've got basic wipers to get you back on the road, as well as premium blades from Bosch and Rain-X. So if you're hearing this, just head to your nearest AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Timmy Hall. We got a huge game for the Buckeyes on Saturdays. They go to Penn State for a noon kick. Their quarterback, Drew Allar, is a game-time decision. He injured his knee in their win over Wisconsin. The two offenses are quite similar in numbers. OSU ranked 9 in total offense in the country, 471 yards per game. Penn State is ranked 13th, 463 yards per game. Passing numbers and rushing numbers also pretty similar. We got a reaction Monday. Buckeyes struggling but beating Nebraska on Saturday. In the NFL, the Chiefs just acquired defensive end Joshua Uche today from the Patriots to bolster their defense. He had 11 and a half sacks in 2022. In the NHL, the Blue Jackets are on home ice tonight taking on the Oilers. It's at 7 o'clock right here on The Fan. This one's sponsored by Dormar Heating and Air Conditioning. Need an emergency repair? Dormar can be there today, guaranteed. Visit them at dormarheating.com.
It's Reaction Monday, where our highly trained experts talk football.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
Your home for reaction and overreaction, The Fan. Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and I feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Maxima Concrete. Visit MaximaConcrete.com today to schedule your free estimate.
All right, final hour of the program, Rothman and Ice. Happy you're with us on this Monday. We'll have Cam Mellor, College Football Network, 2:33. Get his feeling on that question I asked before the season, Matty. Will we get a national champion out of the 5 to 12 pool, or will it only be reserved for the top 4?
I think based off of what we've seen so far throughout this college football year, that's in play. That someone from the 5 to 12 hole could do it.
If I gave you the 5 to 12 pool over the 4, the top 4, would you take it?
I don't know, because I'm not in love with the BYU's, Iowa State, Clemsons of the world.
What if Texas and Ohio State are coming out of the 5 to 12 pool?
It's a different conversation. Ohio State right now is ranked 4th in the country, but between Miami and Texas, that's pretty good cracks at it right there. I like what they have going on there. But the Georgia, Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, that pairing or that grouping of squads right there brings me more confidence. Where would you fall? Are you with me? Or do you like the 5 to 12
I'm putting myself in the camp of the hypothetical if Ohio State is not a top 4 team. And let's say Texas is not a top 4 team. Let's say they're like 5 and 6 or 5 and 7 or whatever. And my 4 that I'd be dealing with would be what? Like Oregon,
Miami,
Georgia, Miami.
At that point, yeah.
I don't know. Is this Iowa State team going to get a?
I don't know anything.
Top 4.
Big 12's wacky.
If you could guarantee me that I'm getting Texas and Ohio State in the 5 through 12, then I'll take them with the other 7 and I'll roll the dice.
So it'd have to be the Buckeyes and the Longhorns for you.
They'd have to probably both be in that 5 to 12 pool, and then I would take them over the top 4, even though the top 4 getting a bye and the top 4 theoretically would be very good teams.
But right now you would take the top 4 as it stands right now.
Yes, absolutely, because it's still in my mind you're going to get at least one of those in the top 4.
If Indiana gets in the 5 to 12 slot, does that change your mind?
About what? Scotty asked me
winning the whole darn thing.
getting the playoff would be something miraculous for them, and no one would downplay that. That'd be very cool.
Yeah.
But honestly, they haven't. I can't keep saying it, though. I can't keep saying they haven't played anybody. They're still winning, and they had a really good win over the weekend with their backup quarterback.
Yeah.
So I've got it. He gets them ready, and they believe. They do. And so I think the one thing he's got going for him is that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. They think, and they know. And that's the coolest year of being that the unlikely unbeaten that Indiana is, despite them not winning a ranked game, is for real. And that inside that room, I think it's more than just belief. They know they have the talent. And if Rourke comes back, then all of a sudden they've got a legit chance to make the playoff.
If you would have told me before the season started, if you would have looked at me and said, Maddie, at some point in time this year, the Indiana Hoosiers are going to be ranked higher than Alabama, I would have said, you must be off that bliss drug that the Penguins handing out in Gotham City. I wouldn't have believed you. I wouldn't have believed you. But here they are ranked above Alabama right now. Pete Thamel did report this earlier. Our Indiana quarterback Curtis Rourke has continued to throw the past few days, and there's continued optimism he can play on Saturday against Michigan State.
That's a big one in that they can't overlook them because they've got Michigan the following week. You can't. Now, going on the road, you shouldn't overlook anybody when you're going on the road, but they will have Michigan the following week. And that one is big time important to these big dreams. They all are now. They got to win them all. Drew Allar sat the second half of that game against Wisconsin. They managed to survive too. And it sets up this showdown where Ohio State is a favorite on the road. When I told you that during the break,
surprised me.
You were surprised.
It did. And it's not because I don't believe Ohio State's a contender. I think it's more respect that I have for Penn State and what they've done so far. I thought Penn State would be favored at the crib by a field goal, 3 points.
Even 2.5.
Something like that. Yeah, nothing crazy, but it did surprise me to hear that Vegas is looking at Ohio State as a favorite on the road and over at Happy Valley.
I don't know what the look-ahead line was before this weekend, but I would assume Ohio State was still a 4-point favorite or bigger before this Nebraska game and before Penn State went to Wisconsin. The other part that hasn't affected this line, which I am surprised, and maybe Vegas already knows because they know everything, is that this Drew Allar, Bo Pribula thing has to be baked into this line. They have to know that Allar is probably going to play, or they have to know that he probably isn't, because that's a quarterback that has to affect things pretty dramatically. Or maybe the way they saw Pribula and that run game and that defense at Wisconsin, maybe they feel like no matter who's in there, that this line is accurate where Penn State should be a 4-point dog. But here we are. It started at 4.5. I think it went to 3.5. It's kind of settled in at 4 that Ohio State is a favorite. Now, these are, I said to CB, these are the kinds of games that Ohio State is used to winning, especially against Penn State. Now, what's being thrown back at me is, but wait a minute. Now it's, quote, the top 5 team or the top 10 team that Ryan Day has had serious problems with record-wise.
Yeah.
You know what? In a weird way, the Penn State-Ohio State series, it's just got a different psychology to me. Every time James Franklin, not every time, but most of the time that he's had a team that can compete with Ohio State, most of the time he has, but he doesn't come out on the winning end.
Come up short.
He's always come up short. Maybe that one time he didn't, but most of the time he does. And so these are the games that Ohio State usually wins. However, this is not a get-right game for an offensive line that was really trash. And against that rush defense of Penn State, you have to wonder, and Will Howard said it, and you heard the soundbite earlier. I don't know, CB, do you have that soundbite handy? Like, this is the one that really sets this week into motion.
I'm stoked. I cannot wait. It's going to be a homecoming for me. I grew up a Penn State fan. I wanted to go there my whole life. They didn't think I was good enough. But I guess we'll see next week if I was.
It's amazing. Not something that I expected coming off of a narrow victory over Nebraska, but he's able to flip the page. He's been around long enough. They got a dub, And if they want to keep their hopes up for a Big Ten title game alive in Indy, this is a must-have game, and they know it.
I love that comment from Will. I don't think those comments are going to have any type of impact on the game whatsoever, right? We always go down the road of, bulletin board material and all that. If Penn State hears that and wants to use it to help them get ready for the game, fine. And both these teams are going to be laser-focused as far as their preparation goes anyway. Will just has to be careful that because of what we just heard and the emotion that he probably will be feeling when the game starts, that doesn't lead to some mistakes as far as him trying to do too much or prove to James Franklin or whoever was on the staff at the time that he's talking about that, hey, you should have brought me in instead of quarterback X or whoever they had a few years ago. So, yeah, I like those type of comments. And I think when we get to Saturday, look, they may run that, on Fox before the game or whatever in a little package, but I don't think it's going to have any type of impact on the game.
No, he'll just have to live with it if he doesn't play well, or he'll get to hammer home the point that the motivation of being turned down, of not being able to play at my dream school affected me. But listen, as much as James Franklin has had trouble against Ohio State, Nebraska against a ranked team is almost a lock. They always lose to ranked teams. They haven't beaten a ranked team since 2016. That's 27 straight they've had. And they've had Ohio State on the ropes in the past and couldn't throw the knockout punch. Matt Rule, 2-22 as a head coach against ranked teams.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. Yeah, so the psychology of the game does lean Ohio State's way just because of the series. But we got all week to talk about that.
And also, if you're Coach Day, I don't know if he'd ever admit this because obviously he's probably not happy with everything that he saw, but it's one of those situations as a coach where you come out of it with a win. But my guys have so much to do that I can grab their attention and everybody's not going to be feeling, they won't be feeling themselves too much, as my grandma used to say. Because if you beat Nebraska the way that Indiana beat Nebraska, then you may have some guys coming into the Woody this week feeling like everything is all good in the hood. But now, because of the way that they had to earn it and the way that the defense stepped up in certain situations, getting stops and all of that, I think you can really grab your team, mentally throughout the week and say, yeah, guys, we got to win, but we should not be feeling very good about how we went about getting that win.
It's certainly a spin that he can go that way if he wants to. It's really the only way he can go. If you asked him before the game, would you rather have beaten them badly or had a narrow win so you could use it to get their attention? I'm pretty sure he's taking the overwhelming win just from a confidence standpoint. But, yeah, that is real. That they're no longer, and I said it before this week, they've kind of turned into this odd, forgotten team that Oregon's being gifted the Big Ten now that they've beaten them head-to-head. And that shouldn't be that. That should make them dangerous. I think what I keep coming back to is this team had 2 weeks to promise and deliver an angry performance and didn't. And maybe it is more real than intangible. Maybe it is more real that their offensive line is a problem. And it's going to continue to be a problem. And how they overcome that problem with defense, with will, with schematic stuff we were talking about, that's going to be the challenge for Chip Kelly and Ryan Day moving forward, and Jim Knowles and everybody to say, how can we do our best in a weird way, cover for our weakness at the O-line?
It's tough, man. That's a real issue to try and overcome. Yeah, you lose an Emeka or a Jeremiah for a game or two or something. You're like, you know what? We got Cornell Tate and we got Brandon Ennis. We still got an O-line that can hold up and allow those guys to make noise. When it works the other way, that really can have a negative effect on your entire offense as a whole. And so the grind that these coaches have to go through now the next few days to figure out what can we do to get our guys in good positions to make noise offensively is going to be a tough challenge for them, right? But this is why they get paid the big bucks, and this is why they get all the attention and love and all that stuff that comes along with being a player and a coach at Ohio State. Now it's time to get in the lab and show people why you're thought of as an elite coach or as an elite player. Got to figure it out.
All right, when we come back, the man who was the GOAT, and I'm talking about Maddie, the old school GOAT. Not the new way they described GOAT.
Okay.
That's next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but You've accepted that. The Fan.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Hey, it's Anthony. If you want to make the best deal in town on a new Honda, make sure you visit my friends at your main Honda of Dublin. They're on Sawmill Road, just south of 270. And Rich tells me you're going to get 1.90% APR up to 60 months on most new 24s and 25 Hondas. They'll give you the details. Of course, you'll get same-day service, no appointment needed. And how about an extra $1,000 for your trade if you have a 2014 or newer vehicle? All with the great people at your main Honda of Dublin.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 2 trips to a Buckeye postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
When you bring Pella Columbus to your home, you get local, personal attention from an award-winning window and door crew.
Yep. Our crew is full of award winners, too.
Well, that's great, Wilson.
Yeah. Jerry alone has won the hot dog eating competition 2 years straight at the company picnic.
Well, that's not really the type of award I was talking about.
Still counts as an award.
Get the window that Columbus homeowners rate the leading and most trusted at PellaColumbus.com.
Friday night in the Buckeye State means only one thing. High school football, baby. Join Ryan Baker and Coach Lee Cochran for Byers Dublin Subaru High School Overtime.
Friday night at 9:30.
Your home of all things football. The Fan.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dooutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Hey, Bobby Carpenter here for my friends at Affinity Whole Health. Affinity is the leader in testosterone and hormone replacement therapy, but they are also much more than that. They help men and women who are experiencing things like low energy, low libido, muscle loss, and weight gain. Turn it all around. You can feel amazing and live better, just like I can. It can be delivered right to your door, which is tremendous. Semaglutide for weight loss and testosterone and hormone replacement therapy for so much more. I've been a customer for years, and it works. Get started at feelgreatcolumbus.com.
You know, Ohio's Supreme Court makes headlines for the wrong reasons. They even ruled it's okay for boneless chicken wings to have bones that can choke kids.
But we can stop their extreme one-party politics by voting for Mike Donnelly, Melody Stewart, and Lisa Forbes for Ohio's Supreme Court.
Right. Ohio's newspapers say Donnelly, Stewart, and Forbes are the clear choice.
We need an experienced, independent court we can trust. And Donnelly, Stewart, and Forbes will judge the Reproductive Freedom Amendment fairly and honestly, protecting our rights, safety, and families.
Ohioans deserve independent justice, transparency, and equal treatment under the law. That's why we really need Donnelly, Stewart, and Forbes to provide checks and balances.
Don't stop fighting for your rights, freedoms, and choices. But do remember to vote for Mike Donnelly, Melody Stewart, and Lisa Forbes.
Paid for by Donnelly for Supreme Court, Stewart for Ohio Supreme Court, and Forbes for Justice.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, partly cloudy, high 69. Record warmth tomorrow. We could be flirting with a 100-year record. We're going 80 for the high on your Tuesday, 80 again on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by the Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, it's tough timing for the Packers. Before we get to that, let's do a little Bet365 time.
Yes, sir, because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. See for yourself when you sign up today and get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5.
All right, so I've cashed in twice on the first two World Series games with playing the Nerfy.
Here we go.
You know what the Nerfy is now, don't you, Maddie? No runs first inning. But it was dicey both times. Runners in scoring position, all that. Do I play it again tonight with Bueller and Schmidt on the mound? Or do I finally go back over to go away from the Nerfy now, that there will be a run in the first inning? That way you know your bet cashes or loses right out of the gate. You don't have to emotionally get dragged into.
That's a tough question. I don't know.
It's 2-0 in the World Series.
Yeah.
The old Nerfy.
What are you doing, man?
I feel like I've played with fire too much. I might go with a run. I love the bet because I do this bet all the time. I always play that both teams won't score in the first 10 minutes of an NHL game.
Okay.
That's really the only bet I really like. Maybe shots on goal occasionally. Yeah. But I do like to play that both teams won't score in the first 10 minutes. And I usually like to play the no runs first inning because you're figuring out the pitcher. Could he make a first inning mistake? Yeah, with a home run, but most of the time. So I'll tell you what. Let's ride it still.
Wow.
I know.
Cut that up, CB.
No runs first inning.
I am going to go to the World Series with you, my man. And I'm going to go with the guy that I kind of feel bad for right now.
Shohei and his shoulder?
Well, that is an issue.
He is going to play.
I don't feel bad for him based off his bank account.
His assistant stole it all.
But Mike, those deferred payments he's got coming, it's the best contract that's ever been invented.
That's right.
The contract is absolutely. I know I got your joke. I'm just saying, like, the contract for Shohei Ohtani, he can be bad in his late 30s and be making millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
The guy I feel bad for is Aaron Judge. He's struggling right now, man. He's struggling. 4 straight games without a dinger, but guess what, Aaron Judge? I got you covered, big dog, because I'm putting this out into the atmosphere. A dinger for Aaron Judge is happening tonight, plus 230. Take it to the bank. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. Download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
All right. I'll kind of put the last part of the story first. He has apologized. All right. He apologized to his teammates. He apologized for his lack of awareness and focus and all that cliche stuff. Game ain't over till it's over, all that stuff. It's not that. It's not that Tyreek Stevenson of the Chicago Bears tipped a Hail Mary backwards, part of 2 hands going up. I'm not faulting him for that. That's really not on him. Because when everybody goes up and that ball gets volleyballed, the fact that Noah was the only one back there, and there was no last line of, hey, how do you defend the tip? The other part was that they can't be in that prevent before the play that led up to the Hail Mary. You can't give them those yards because you know they have no timeouts. Anything in field tackled, game's over. But they gifted him the 10 to 15 yards that Romo called. But the fact that I didn't know this until I saw the video,
I love it.
You get the field view, the back end view. Not only was Tyreek Stevenson taunting the fans, but his back was turned to the play when the ball was snapped. I
love it.
He's a professional football player. I'll tell you, on emotion, I would have cut him on the spot.
It was an all-time highlight.
All-time high.
Oh, my gosh. I'm like, this dude is absolutely on one.
He knew they had a final play.
Of course he did, man.
Turn around.
When I saw that, I was in tears laughing at what this guy did. It reminds me of like the Nick Young, the Swaggy P highlight where he shoots the 3 and turns around and like celebrates, and you see the ball go in and out. Yeah. This is like a hitter in baseball that pimps a home run And then they like start getting to first base and like, oh crap, that's not going out. I better start running. This may be worse than all of those.
Long single
because of what you said. The dude is taunting the crowd.
Not only after he taunted the crowd.
Oh man.
But when he finally figures out that the play is ongoing, he's even slow to kind of get where he needs to get to. Now he did time up going up for the rebound.
He tried to swat it down, I believe, in my opinion. He just didn't have the bunnies.
I don't think it was just his hand either
I
that
think,
got it.
But I don't think his intention, AR, was to tip it up. Like, to me, that would surprise me. I just thought, based off of his vertical jump there, that's all he had in the tank, and he couldn't get a good enough angle and get his hand on top of the football to bat it down, and it ends up in the hands of the former Buckeye and Noah Brown. And it was just absolutely a bananas and just a crazy scene.
I mean, he is
that.
a 6-footer. It's not like he's tiny. Like I said, I'm not blaming him. That a Hail Mary bump, set, and spike kind of situation, that can happen. I blame them for the defense prior to that final play, and I completely blame him for not being locked in. When you have a quarterback that can throw it that far and the Hail Mary is the only thing that can beat you, your focus beyond anything else should be to make sure that that thing doesn't happen to you and your defense.
And also credit to Jaden Daniels and the group of blockers around Jaden Daniels for him having the athletic ability to buy time, but also the offensive line, and I believe Austin Eckler was hanging out. They did a good job of identifying any Chicago Bear that could have been a threat at the time. And I know it was right around, 3 to 4 guys in that area. But that's a part that's baked into that. That isn't, the end result is always going to be the big picture situation that we talk about. But you got to give credit to Jaden Daniels, too. And that was a part of the equation when you draft a guy like that is he can make moments like this happen based off of his athletic ability. Yeah. And by the way, those Commanders unis, though, the all black, I'm in.
Helmets were cool.
I'm so in. Bengals yesterday had on the all whites. Those look good. Yeah. That Commander's all black. That gets it done.
Bears sent 3 pass rushers. The remaining 8, or 7, I should say, because the 8th was busy over in the end zone taunting the fans.
I love that.
Finally showed up for a play. If you haven't seen this, a fan captured the video. I'm not talking about the network. A fan captured this video on a cell phone about Tyreek Stevenson of the Bears taunting the Commanders fans before the final snap in a lot of different ways. And then after he realized he should turn around, almost really saved the day until he didn't.
So good.
He was a second-round pick last year. He hasn't been in the league very long, and these are the kind of things that he'll have to make up for the rest of his career.
The fact that he's the same guy that was tossing the crowd and tipped the pass to Noah Brown is
the
just
assist.
You can't make
Maddie,
it up. You just
when
can't.
that karma wheel swings, some don't duck.
Whoa.
And it got him, and it knocked him off.
Oh, my goodness. That's a, for me, I've never seen that before moment.
Right.
I've honestly never seen that. It's absolutely insane.
I wonder what he would have taunted them if he was the one that actually knocked it away and got away with it. Who knows? Might still be there taunting him. All right, there are your pre-snap reads for today. All right, we jump back into college football next. We'll bring on our friend Cam Mellor, College Football Network, and I'll get his opinion in this wild, wacky season of college football. Would he take the 5-12 pool over maybe who's going to be in the top 4 getting that bye? Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Your morning just got beefier. Morning Juice with Beamer, Bobby, and Shark.
Weekdays from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
He's a former coach with 2 sons who played professional basketball. Satch Sullinger's a competitive individual, but his golf game was suffering because of painful joints.
Right, that's real important. The golf game, right. As we get older, we create these bad habits because we're relegated to hit a certain way.
QC Kinetics used regenerative treatments, all natural healing properties from Satch's own body to restore those damaged joints and get his golf game back on track.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me, all natural. And that's what I'm about. I'm going to tell everybody why I'm better.
Oh, and by the way, looks like the competitive Satch is back.
We're all in the same boat, and I'm getting better, and I'm watching them stay old.
Go to QCkinetics.com. Get relief and your game back. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
We all know Central Ohio's growing fast. It's making traffic worse and life more expensive. That's why voting yes on Issue 47 is so important. Issue 47 will help folks get to work faster and cheaper by creating Coda Rapid Bus Service. That means more routes, better hours, and more reliable service. That will expand access to transportation for everyone in our community, from the elderly to the disabled, to veterans and students. And Issue 47 will make our neighborhoods safer and more walkable by building 500 miles of sidewalks, trails, and bikeways. When we pass Issue 47, we'll get $1 billion in matching funds from the federal government to pay for it. We're already sending our tax dollars to D.C. Let's bring some of that money home to help our community. Issue 47 means safer neighborhoods and a better quality of life for our families. It's an easy call. Vote yes on Issue 47. Paid for by moving Central Ohio forward.
We have a lot of football happening. I'm here to help. Set your radio preset to the fan. Very good. Now set the second one to ESPN Columbus. It's the HD2 button. Lastly, go to the fan's HD3 and save the fan 3. Crisis averted. You're welcome.
Post Malone is teaming up with Raising Cane's to empower the next generation of artists. For a limited time, 2 exclusive double-sided Post Malone posters are available at Raising Cane's. So post up your combo at Cane's while supplies last and support a good cause. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Hey, it's Anthony. If you want to make the best deal in town on a new Honda, make sure you visit my friends at your main Honda of Dublin. They're on Sawmill Road, just south of 270. And Rich tells me you're going to get 1.90% APR up to 60 months on most new 24s and 25 Hondas. They'll give you the details. Of course, you'll get same-day service, no appointment needed. And how about an extra $1,000 for your trade if you have a 2014 or newer vehicle? All with the great people at your main Honda of Dublin.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves, but don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Curtis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Curtis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Open a Platinum Rewards Visa at Kemba Financial Credit Union and secure super low everyday rates so you can pay down debt faster. Apply now at Kemba.org to unlock 2% cash back on purchases for a limited time and pay 0% interest for a full year on balance transfers plus exclusive perks. Restrictions apply. Offer ends October 31st, 2024.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
There's nothing like ripping off your pants and enjoying some lobster bisque. This is Rothman and Ice.
All right, quickly. By the way, I did want to say that the MRI came back on Jordan Love, the Packers quarterback. He's avoided like a major groin injury, but it's something. And they host the Lions this week. So horrendous timing for them on that. And we're waiting here. But it does sound like he avoided anything season ending, so that's good. All right, we go back to the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Bring on our friend Cam Mellor, College Football Network. Cam, welcome back, my friend. How are you?
I'm great. A little sad that it's almost November, but happy that at least brings an action with it in the very near future. But yeah, getting along here.
Yeah, we got a massive matchup, obviously, at Penn State. Okay, so Ohio State's got a 7-game win streak over them. Psychology is on their side. But I'm not sure how much more is the way that Penn State was able to get through Wisconsin on the road at night without Drew Allar. What is your sense on that game if he plays or not? How will you look at it?
It's tough. What do they want to do offensively, and what do they do offensively, I think, are two different aspects. With Allar in the lineup or without Allar in the lineup, obviously. And so are they able to, if Allar doesn't play, if he does play and is not at full health, how much do they trust him to throw the ball down the field, if at all? And so I think it actually adds another little wrinkle for the Ohio State defense to have to figure out how much do I want to stack the box? How many times do I want to try to stop that rushing attack and really clog up the middle and make the running backs beat them? And then can Allar still beat us over the top? It's a little bit more difficult to game plan for this team now, offensively, I think.
Cam, when you woke up Sunday morning after watching another, weekend of college football, what was still on your mind? Was there a player or a team or performance from somebody where you were really impressed with what they did, or maybe one of these elite programs that you feel like has a weakness that they need to get identified going into November? What stuck with you when you woke up on Sunday?
The lack of sustainability in the SEC. I think that as good as we might think that Georgia is this year, or Texas was before the Georgia game, their inabilities to close out games. And I know we make so much of what Vanderbilt's been able to do this year. I think that really showcases, though, if Vanderbilt can keep pace with the Alabamas and the Texases, they're not necessarily the teams to beat in the playoffs. And I think that focus is going to shift as we get through November. And obviously this weekend, how the Big Ten might be that the cream of the crop in terms of conferences this season. That's what I couldn't shake.
Bigger surprise in college football right now, Texas A&M or Indiana?
I think we knew what Kurt Signetti was going to be able to bring. I think it's a surprise he's able to do it so fast and in the Big Ten. But A&M, they benched Connor Wegman in the middle of the game, and they still beat LSU. I mean, that is the biggest surprise to me in the sense of how they're winning games. Le'Veon Moss coming out of nowhere, and they're doing it with apparently a quarterback dilemma.
So I saw this morning a headline that, Deion Sanders in Colorado, he's got that program bowl eligible for the first time since, I believe, 2016. When you look at where they are right now as a team and they're standing in the Big 12, do you believe that they can win that conference this year, or do you still view them as a flawed football team?
I still think they're a flawed football team. I think they're getting by on a wing and a prayer here at this point. I also just think of that's how high I think we need to think of Iowa State, what Matt Campbell's been able to do to revitalize his career. Kansas State obviously still with that chance there, but ultimately BYU, I think, is the team to beat as much as we wanted to think this might be a gimmick, and they're winning with Jake Retzlaff at quarterback. That defense is one of the best in the country, and that offense is, as long as Aaron Roderick is calling plays for BYU, I still think that right now they're the top dog, and our win probability models, everything, all the advanced analytics say that they're the team to beat. But I do appreciate what Deion's been able to do this year in that rushing attack.
All right, we are visiting with our friend Cam Mellor, talking about the impact of certainly this week's top 5 matchup at State College. He's the executive director of College Football Network, CFN 365. All right, so from Ohio State's standpoint, they are a favorite. The look-ahead line before this last weekend's games, with I think 3.5, it ticked up to a half. That's it, based on maybe the quarterback news. Are you surprised that Ohio State is a favorite on the road or not?
I think it's the Vegas lines setting the stage for the inevitable James Franklin can't coach and can't win a big game moment. I think this year, though, however, if I looked at it on paper, Penn State right now at home, those two are very similar teams. Ohio State and Penn State are very similar teams, and I think at home, with that ruckus crowd that everybody, I think, in this area knows how hard it is to play and how hard it is to win there, especially when you have an even team. I would put this line more Penn State by a point, and that's just giving 2.5 points to that home crowd. So they might have got it right for what they think might happen, but ultimately on paper, I think Penn State has a little bit of an advantage. When you look at Florida State, and obviously it's been a horrendous year for them and just, awful on all fronts for the Seminoles. Looking ahead, Cam, as far as who could be the next leader of that program if they do decide to go away from Norvell, who are some guys that you think we should be looking at around the country that could take over Florida State potentially and turn them into a real threat? I don't really have a good answer for them, and I don't think they have a good answer either. I've actually racked my brains, and I think if you want to go somewhere a little bit unique, a little bit different, but stay in-house, you'd look potentially at a guy like a Brendan Marion out at UNLV. I know that they lost their marquee game against Syracuse on Friday night, and then they lost it again to Boise State. But what he's done with so little resources out at UNLV, this is a guy who interviewed for 5 or 6 head coaching jobs last coaching carousel, but stayed with Barry Odom. A guy like that, he can recruit Texas. Historically, Florida State's not been able to recruit Texas well, and I think that is what they would take. A guy, you take a little bit of a chance, so to speak, on a guy who's never run a program. It might not be the nicest pick, but it might be all they can financially afford at that point, too.
All right, Cam, let me give you a little bracket watch 2024, 2025. So if we go on the hypothetical that if you gift these division or conference winners, let's just say Oregon and Georgia and Miami and even Iowa State, that would put Texas and presumably Ohio State in the 5 to 12 pool. Where would you go if that were the case? If I gave you 5 through 12 or the top 4 right now, where would your mind take you?
Oh, at this point, I'd rather be the highest ranked seed in that 5 through 12. I know you'd have to play an extra game, but that means you've had to have already also played your conference championship game, and who knows what's going to happen in that first week of December in those games. So if you have to sit out a game, so to speak, I'd rather be that 5 seed, play the 4 seed who had just previously gotten beat up. I know at that point, if you're a 5 seed, you're probably playing the Mountain West champion Boise State Broncos at this point. So it's not a give me by any stretch of the imagination. And then if you're the 6 seed, who you're probably playing the 3rd or 4th entry from the SEC or the Big Ten. And at that point, you have a little bit of a roadmap towards success, a little bit more so than you would than maybe playing Oregon again and getting beat up again. So to me, give me 5 or 6 for the best route, even though it means play another game.
Cam, if we were doing a playmakers draft around college football, you know we have discussions all the time in the NFL, who has the best trio and all those things. But if we brought it down to the collegiate level and we were doing a playmakers draft and you had the first overall pick in our fantasy league that I'm throwing at you, which program's playmakers would you draft first?
I don't think it's a question, and it's not just because I'm here talking to you guys and are in my own backyard. You take Ohio State. Just if you're building a college football program, you take Ohio State with the youth, the talent, and also ultimately what we'd be able to do in the transfer portal, but also the wealth of talent as well. So if you give me more than 3, I'm taking Ohio State. If you give me to build a program from now and into the future, I'm taking Ohio State. I think across the board for every reason above, you take Ohio State.
All right, my man. Great stuff. We'll be talking to you soon. This is a big one. This will impact a lot, and we'll have you on soon. Thanks, man.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks, guys.
Yep, Cam Mellor, College Football Network, here on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. The win of the year right now, I know it's Oregon beating Ohio State. You go back to that week 1 win, Maddie, for Notre Dame at A&M, and that thing is looking really good for them. That's holding up. Yeah. Now the Notre Dame, I know they blasted Navy here, and they rebounded from that Northern Illinois, but that win they have over A&M in week 1 it's
huge. It's
hanging
absolutely
for them.
Huge, and the fact that on the opposite side of that, Texas A&M has gone on a run. Since taking that L and just picked up a top 10 win this past weekend against LSU, makes them absolutely look the part. They tore apart Navy. Absolutely tore them apart on Saturday. So credit to Marcus Freeman.
All right, we come back with Tell the Truth. To wrap it up, Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Men, if erectile dysfunction is affecting you, getting treated could have a dramatic impact on your relationship and your outlook on life. But it's also important where you get treated because your health matters. And working with an organization that practices excellent medicine and has significant expertise in men's sexual health can often result in a far better outcome. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if you're seeking a quality provider to treat your ED or are just not satisfied with your current situation, call us. We'll show you a true 5-star experience and work with you to find the right treatment for your specific medical situation. At Tri-State Men's Health, we truly are experts in men's sexual health. But it's more than that. Unlike the online pill pushers or so-called men's clinics that only offer one or a few treatment options, we offer the full spectrum of ED protocols. We can even use combinative therapies for better results. At Tri-State Men's Health, your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
So are you that person, the one who's been buying over-the-counter insoles just to make whatever shoes you wear cushy Yep, that was me. Hey, it's Anthony. And before I went to the Good Feet store, my back would kill me if I was on my feet for any serious amount of time. I was told about the Good Feet store's 3-step arch support system. Once I tried them in my shoes, I instantly felt more supported, and honestly, my feet felt aligned perfectly for the first time in forever. And they're fit to me personally. And it's not just comfort. My Good Feet store arch supports are designed to balance and strengthen my feet. They've made such a difference in my life. The Good Feet store has helped many people relieve their pain, obviously me included. No waiting required. Good Feet arch supports are immediately available. Bring in your favorite shoes to the Good Feet store, and they'll personally fit you to ensure your comfort. Go ahead. Take a free test walk today. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA. They're on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or goodfeet.com.
It's Rocktober, baby!
It's Rocktober at Lindsay Honda.
Just announced for the rest of Rocktober, we're lowering the finance rate to 0.9% on every new Lindsay Honda. And you still get the Lindsay Honda difference. A $1,295 value package included with every vehicle purchase.
This is it.
Turn up the noise with Lindsay Honda.
With approved credit on select in-stock 24 and 25 Honda models. Dealer contribution may affect consumer cost.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan. Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Jerry.
Remember that day I invented the everything bagel?
That was a heck of a day, Jerry. I was right there in line.
Get Eco.
I saw the onion bagel and the poppy seed bagel and the sesame bagel, and I thought, imagine if one bagel could give you everything you need.
You changed the world that day, Jerry.
Get Eco.
I think Eco is just like that for homeowners in Ohio. Plumbers, electricians, HVAC technicians. One company, one call, everything you need.
Get Eco.
Eco is a complete ecosystem of home services all under one roof.
Ooh, that is a good one.
Big things, small things, projects that require a little of this and that. Eco has the whole ecosystem equally covered.
Get Eco.
What if one day someone comes up with a new thing you can put on a bagel?
Well, I've already patented everything, Aaron. Nobody can claim everything plus one.
You're a wise man, Jerry.
I'm making a fortune, Aaron.
Get Eco.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Reichert Chevy's dealing in Dublin.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Shop hundreds of vehicles at ReichertChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
At Reichert.
We're dealing.
Dormar, you're my hero.
My furnace just went out.
Ma'am, have no fear. Dormar is here. We can get that furnace fixed fast.
Dormar, you guys are the best.
Dormar, you're my hero.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
All right, CB, take us home.
I heard a loud boom over there. Was that a weight hitting the floor?
You know the grind don't stop. You know we got to do curls and stuff like that during the break. So that's exactly what that is. I think the General Bobby Carpenter has had this 25-pound dumbbell in here. So I gotta get it in, CB. That's exactly what you heard.
You got to get a good pump in here on Rothman and Ice.
I figured that was the case. I just wanted to take people behind the curtain, what you're doing maybe on the YouTube stream, if the video's coming back and you're still, doing those arm curls, what's actually going on there?
It's not even just curls. When AR and I were out of Nationwide doing the show prior to the jacket season starting off, we were running stairs. People were commenting on YouTube watching us get it in there. Yeah. So, yeah, man, got to get the work in, CB. What did Bill Belichick say? No days off. None.
All right,
taking
Will,
some days off.
it's very fitting that the national day today is what I'm about to say because of the week that we are in, which is Halloween week. So it is, of course, National Chocolate Day. Of the three big ones I'm going to mention here, the milk chocolate, the dark chocolate, or even the white chocolate, which is your favorite?
Well, dark chocolate's in the basement for me. It's not bad. It's just of the three, that's going to come in last. See, I like a good white Kit Kat. That's strong for me. Like the old Hershey's bar, the white was a cookies and cream bar. I believe that qualifies as white chocolate. That's a hit right there. But just milk chocolate, there's just so many different ways you can go about it. It's hard for me, AR, to go any other way. So I'm going to go with the milk chocolate.
If he's only giving you those three choices, I think that is the right one. I do originally remember back when I was a kid, the first taste of the white chocolate. That was something special. That was so unique.
Yeah, it's a win.
That I was like, okay, this is the win.
Yeah.
Of those three, yes. You guys know that I prefer like a chocolate malt over like a chocolate shake. I like it's.
What's your favorite way to consume?
It's a bit nutty.
What's your favorite way to consume milk chocolate? Like, is there a candy bar?
It's that old Elmer sundae I told you guys about. That Elmer that you pour over the ice cream and then it hardens into the shell, but it's a milk chocolate.
I see the vision.
Yeah. It's like a dipped cone.
You can't handle the truth.
I don't think people would pick this in terms of Maddie's question, but I think the Hershey bar on the s'more, I think, is an elite milk chocolate.
The Hershey, I agree with that, but the Hershey bar is a standalone. Kind of mid to me.
Okay, that's fair.
Gotta be honest. It's got to be baked into some other things, and you baked it into a s'more, and that's always a party.
All right, it's letter grade time for Ohio State against Nebraska. From an A to an F, what would you give?
Professor Rothman?
No minuses or pluses?
Yeah, what's up with that?
You're allowed to. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
I like that. Thanks, CB.
C+. I mean, it's, you're probably not going to get punished by your parents for that. They're going to ask you why you underachieved.
Curfew's cut short about an hour that weekend.
There's going to be probably a class that they knew you should be better in, and you brought home a C+. You'd be like, why? It's a C+. They'd be like, you underachieved. You just showed up. You put your name on the paper. You hung out. You showed up for class. You got a C+, but you should have done better.
Sounds like
that's kind of where it is for me.
I used to get those speeches far too often.
Apply yourself, Matthew.
Oh, I like your grade. I think I'm actually going to roll with a C, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the offensive line stuff was just not good. Not good. So I'll go C.
Hey, by the way, real fast, the fact that Arvell Reese is going to play in the first half of this game is big because they won the appeal, I guess.
Oh, on the
target. Yeah.
Was it confirmed by Ohio State on that yet?
I saw it somewhere. I'm believing it.
He saw it on the internet. It must be true.
Did you say I know my truth?
I'll double check.
I know my truth.
No, it's fine. I mean,
maybe my sources.
We will follow up on it tomorrow when we get clarification on that. Real quick, today's fan poll. The question is this: which team had the most surprising performance, good or bad, over the weekend? Was it the Bengals, the Browns, or Ohio State?
Wow. I'm gonna go with. I'll go with the Browns in a good way.
Yeah.
I'll go with the Browns in a good way. I liked what they did.
It's surprising. Even with Jameis, you knew they'd sling it around. It was an emotional game for them. That's the most surprising. The Eagles-Bengals game, that was a toss-up. You could add in that Ohio State didn't look the part against Nebraska. They still won the game on a nice drive in the fourth quarter. But yeah, I think the Browns actually pulling it off and winning the game was pretty big.
He ain't lying.
Just a quick note. I see this from my guy Pat Murphy over at Bucknuts. It sounds like Ohio State did confirm that they filed an appeal on the targeting call, and it was determined not to be targeting. So, yes, he will be eligible for the first half. Good job out of you.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, let's finish up with a would you rather. Would you rather only eat sour foods or salty foods the rest of your life, but you cannot have the other option when you choose one of them?
Oh, this is so easy. Sour foods should not be on planet Earth.
The Sour Patch Kids?
Yeah, get those out of here.
Oh, you said you love those.
Sour Patch Kids or just Like, it's just, it's a no for me, dog. Salty food, you're talking pretzels and chips and nachos.
Stuff
and
you're never going to eat.
All that stuff that's so good. Sour foods? No. It's like the people that like to eat really spicy food. Why do you do that to yourself, player?
Because it's good. It's good while you're doing it.
But it's painful.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't get it.
I'm trying to think of what I would include in the sour food family that I could even compare to the great stuff you're talking about, the peanuts and all that. What are the sour foods that we're putting in that category?
Unfortunately, they're pretty much just candies, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, it's not even. Maddie's right. It's not even close. The salted snacks win.
The truth shall set you free.
Before we go, coming up on Common Man and T-Bone, Common Man. He's back in the building today. Jason Stark joins at 5:34 to get you ready for Game 3 of the World Series.
All right, we're back tomorrow for a Ryan Day presser into the big one. Join us at noon. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
Download the Prime Sports Ohio app today or visit primesportsbook.com and use the promo code JustSports for a welcome bonus of up to $100. Monday Night Football tonight. The Steelers are a 6-point favorite over the Giants. Dating back to 1992, the Steelers are 21-1 straight up in home Monday Night Football games, with their only loss coming in 2020. Daniel Jones is 1-16 straight up in his career at night. For your Prime Sports Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
Bernie Marino faced multiple lawsuits claiming discrimination against employees.
2 accused him of gender and age discrimination, and the 3rd accuses him of race discrimination. Marino was sued for failing to pay overtime wages.
At some point in life, we've all experienced that boss. You know, the boss you hope you never work for again. Well, Bernie Moreno is that boss. Bernie Moreno was sued for discriminating against his employees. Like a woman he belittled for being a single mom, and a black man demoted from his position as manager after raising concerns he was being paid less than his white co-workers. And Bernie Moreno was caught failing to pay his employees the overtime they earned. And then Moreno shredded evidence to try and cover it up. A judge ordered Moreno to pay $400,000 to former workers. Yes, Bernie Moreno is that boss. And he most certainly shouldn't be our senator.
I'm Sherrod Brown running for Senate. I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Sherrod Brown.
Trust & Will knows that you're likely celebrating a loved one's birthday this month because fall is the most popular birthday season in America. And Trust & Will celebrates by protecting what matters most. Trust & Will makes estate planning easy and affordable, designed by attorneys but customized by you. Visit trustandwill.com with offer code Columbus for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust & Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
Save big money on your next project. Right now at Menards. Give your home an elegant look with Mastercraft pre-finished hardwood molding. Available in 5 pre-finished colors to save you time. Just cut and install. Or a simple upgrade to any room. Save big on all Mastercraft molding products. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards. The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop.
the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swift for Power Mop. Swift for Power Mop.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves. But don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com.